The dim lights of the jazz-filled restaurant cast a warm glow over the cozy booths and bustling tables. I sat alone at our reserved table, nursing a glass of wine and waiting for my wife, Emily. We had been married for 23 years, and tonight was supposed to be a celebration of our enduring love. Little did I know, it would mark the beginning of the end. Emily had excused herself to the restroom over 30 minutes ago, and I started to feel a knot of anxiety forming in my stomach. I scanned the room, my eyes lingering on the door she had walked through. Something didn't feel right. Pushing aside my rising concern, I waved over a waiter. "Excuse me," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "Have you seen my wife? She went to the restroom a while ago and hasn't returned." The waiter, a young man with a friendly face, looked puzzled. "I saw a woman matching her description heading towards the back door. Maybe she stepped outside for some air." I thanked him and got up, my heart pounding as I walked towards the back of the restaurant. Stepping into the alleyway, the cool night air hit my face, but it did little to calm my nerves. I looked around and there she was in the shadows of the dimly lit alley. Emily was in the arms of another man. They were kissing passionately, completely oblivious to the world around them. For a moment I was frozen in place, unable to comprehend the scene before me. This couldn't be real. Emily, my Emily, was betraying me right in front of my eyes. Rage and hurt surged through me, breaking my paralysis. I stormed towards them, and they broke apart, both of them looking shocked and guilty. The man, who I recognized as her colleague Mike, tried to say something, but I cut him off. "What the hell is going on here?" I demanded, my voice shaking with anger. Emily's face turned pale. "John, I can explain," she stammered, but I didn't want to hear it. The pain was too raw, too intense. Without another word, I turned on my heel and walked back into the restaurant. I felt a storm brewing inside me, a mix of heartbreak and fury that threatened to consume me. I needed to get out of there. I needed to think. When Emily finally came home later that night, I was waiting for her. I had already packed her bags and they were sitting by the front door. She tried to speak, to plead with me, but I couldn't look at her. All I could see was the image of her and Mike in that alleyway. "You've destroyed everything," I said quietly, my voice barely audible over the roaring in my ears. "Leave." Emily's tears fell as she begged for forgiveness, but I was resolute. She had made her choice, and now she had to live with the consequences. I watched as she left our home, the home we had built together over 2 decades, and the door closed behind her with a finality that echoed through the empty house. The next morning, I filed for divorce. Our friends and family were shocked when they heard the news, especially when they learned why. Emily tried to salvage her reputation, but the truth was out. The betrayal was too deep, and there was no going back. In the months that followed, I tried to piece my life back together. Nights were the hardest, the silence of the empty house a constant reminder of what I had lost. I found myself consumed by thoughts of revenge, a burning desire to make her feel the pain she had inflicted on me. And so the seeds of my plan were sown, a plan for retribution as scorching as the betrayal that had shattered my heart. Emily would pay for what she had done, and I would make sure of it. As the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, I meticulously crafted my plan. Every detail was scrutinized, and every possible outcome was considered. I knew Emily's routines, her habits, her weaknesses. I would use this knowledge to my advantage. My mind raced with ideas, each more vindictive than the last. The nights were spent in restless contemplation, the days in silent preparation. I started by gathering evidence of her affair. I hired a private investigator who provided me with photos, videos, and even recorded conversations. I compiled everything into a dossier, a damning testament to her infidelity. This was my insurance, my ace in the hole. Next, I began to spread rumors discreetly among our social circle. Whispers of Emily's betrayal reached the ears of our friends and family. Her once pristine reputation was slowly being eroded by the truth. The sympathy she had initially garnered began to wane, replaced by judgment and disdain. Meanwhile, I focused on rebuilding my own life. I joined a support group for those who had been betrayed by their spouses. Sharing my story with others who had gone through similar experiences helped to heal my wounds. I started going to the gym, channeling my anger into physical activity. I even took up painting, finding solace in the creative process. But my quest for retribution was far from over. I wanted Emily to experience the same humiliation and pain she had caused me. I anonymously sent the dossier to her workplace, ensuring that her superiors and colleagues saw the evidence of her indiscretions. The fallout was immediate. She was demoted, her professional reputation in tatters. I also made sure that Mike, her lover, faced the consequences. I leaked information about his involvement with a married woman to his company. He was fired for misconduct, and his career was in ruins. The affair that had brought them together now served as the catalyst for their downfall. Despite the satisfaction of seeing Emily and Mike suffer, I still felt a void within me. Revenge had not brought the closure I had hoped for. Instead, it had only deepened my sense of loss and betrayal. I realized that I needed to let go of the past and move forward. One evening, as I sat in my newly furnished living room, I made a decision. I would forgive Emily, not for her sake, but for mine. Holding on to anger and resentment was only poisoning my soul. I needed to find peace. I wrote Emily a letter, expressing my feelings and my intention to forgive her. I told her that while I could never forget what she had done, I no longer wished to carry the burden of hatred. I mailed the letter, not expecting a response, but simply needing to unburden myself. As time passed, I continued to rebuild my life. I traveled, met new people, and rediscovered my passions. The pain of betrayal slowly faded, replaced by a sense of resilience and strength. I had survived the unraveling of my marriage, and in the process, I had discovered a new, stronger version of myself. And so, as I stood on the threshold of a new chapter in my life, I felt a sense of hope. The past was behind me, and the future was mine to shape. I had emerged from the darkness, ready to embrace the light once more. The first few weeks after Emily moved out were a blur of paperwork, sleepless nights, and endless questions from friends and family. Everyone wanted to know what had happened, and while I tried to keep the details vague, the truth had a way of leaking out. Emily's betrayal became the talk of our social circle, and I found myself both pitied and ostracized. But I didn't care about the gossip. My focus was on something far more consuming: revenge. One particularly sleepless night, as I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, an idea began to take shape in my mind. Emily had taken something from me: our marriage, our trust, our future. It was time for me to take something back. I couldn't just let her walk away unscathed after 23 years of building a life together, only for her to throw it all away. The next morning, I called my lawyer, David. He was a sharp, no-nonsense attorney who had seen his fair share of messy divorces. I needed to know everything about our finances, especially any accounts or investments Emily might have hidden from me. "David, I need you to do a thorough financial investigation," I said, my voice steady and determined. "I want to know every account, every investment, and every cent that Emily has hidden from me." David agreed, and within a week, he had uncovered several accounts that Emily had kept secret. She had been siphoning money into these accounts for years, preparing for a life without me. This betrayal cut deeper than I expected. Not only had she been unfaithful, but she had also been planning her escape for a long time. Armed with this knowledge, I started to form a more detailed plan. I needed allies, people who could help me dismantle the facade Emily had built. I reached out to her closest friends and colleagues, under the guise of trying to understand what went wrong. Over time, I gained their trust and began to piece together a more complete picture of Emily's double life. Through these conversations, I learned that her affair with Mike wasn't just a recent fling. It had been going on for years. They had been careful, covering their tracks, but now that I knew where to look, the evidence was everywhere. I collected emails, photos, and even recordings, all of which painted a damning picture of their betrayal. One evening, I got a call from an old friend of ours, Lisa, who worked with Emily. She was sympathetic to my situation and hinted that there were things about Emily's work life that might interest me. "John, there's something you should know," Lisa said, her voice low and conspiratorial. "Emily and Mike have been using company resources for their personal escapades. If the higher-ups found out, it could cost them their jobs." This was the break I needed. I thanked Lisa and began compiling the evidence. Anonymous tips were sent to the HR department and upper management at their company. Within weeks, Emily and Mike were under investigation. The scandal rocked their workplace, and soon enough, they were both terminated for unethical behavior. But I wasn't done yet. I knew that public humiliation would be the final nail in the coffin. I planned a grand event, a party that would serve as the stage for the ultimate revelation. I invited all our friends, including Emily and Mike, under the pretense of trying to mend fences and move forward. The night of the party arrived, and the atmosphere was tense. I had set up a projector in the living room, and as the guests mingled, I started the presentation. Photos of Emily and Mike together, compromising emails, and recordings of their conversations played in front of everyone. The room was filled with gasps and murmurs of disbelief. Emily's face turned white as she realized what was happening. "Emily," I said, my voice cutting through the stunned silence. "You didn't just betray me, you betrayed all of us. And now, everyone knows the truth." The fallout was immediate. Friends turned their backs on her, her reputation was in tatters, and she was left standing alone in the midst of the wreckage she had created. For the first time in months, I felt a sense of satisfaction. Emily had tried to destroy me, but in the end, she had only destroyed herself. As the party wound down and the guests left, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. The seeds of revenge had taken root, and my life, once shattered, was beginning to take a new shape. Emily was out of my life, and I was finally free to start anew. With the chapter on revenge closing, I found myself contemplating the future. My days of retribution were behind me, and it was time to focus on rebuilding. I channeled my energy into positive pursuits, enrolling in a cooking class I had always wanted to take, and volunteering at a local charity. Slowly, I began to find a new rhythm. In the months that followed, I reconnected with old friends and made new ones. My house, once filled with painful memories, became a sanctuary of peace and new beginnings. The artwork I had started hung on the walls, each piece a testament to my journey from despair to renewal. One sunny afternoon, while strolling through a park, I met Laura, a kind and understanding woman who had experienced her own share of heartbreak. Our conversations flowed naturally, and we found solace in each other's company. As our friendship blossomed into something more, I realized that life had given me a second chance at happiness. Emily's shadow no longer loomed over me. I had emerged stronger, wiser, and more resilient. The seeds of revenge had given way to the seeds of a new life, one filled with hope and possibilities. And as I stood on the threshold of this new chapter, I knew that my best days were still ahead. The morning after the party, I woke up feeling a strange mix of relief and emptiness. The satisfaction of seeing Emily's disgrace was real, but so was the void left by our 23-year marriage. As I sipped my coffee, the house felt eerily quiet. The echoes of last night's confrontation still lingered in the air, but I knew that this was just the beginning of my new life. Emily had left numerous messages on my phone, each one more desperate than the last. I ignored them all. Her pleas for forgiveness fell on deaf ears. She had made her choices, and now she had to live with the consequences. I was done with her. Determined to move forward, I decided to tackle the next step in my plan. It was time to reassess my financial situation and ensure that Emily wouldn't benefit from our divorce any more than necessary. I scheduled another meeting with David. "David, we need to revisit the financial settlements," I said firmly. "Emily's hidden assets need to be accounted for, and I want to make sure she doesn't walk away with more than she deserves." David nodded. "I understand, John. We'll ensure everything is divided fairly, especially given the new information we have." Over the next few weeks, David worked tirelessly to renegotiate the terms of the divorce. Emily's hidden accounts and investments were now part of the settlement, significantly reducing her share. It was a small victory, but it felt like a step towards reclaiming my life. Meanwhile, Emily's life continued to unravel. Her termination from work left her without a steady income, and the scandal had tarnished her reputation beyond repair. Our mutual friends distanced themselves from her, unwilling to be associated with her disgrace. Mike, too, faced the consequences of his actions, and their relationship quickly deteriorated under the weight of public scrutiny. I couldn't help but feel a grim satisfaction as I watched her life fall apart from a distance. But I knew I couldn't dwell on her downfall forever. It was time to focus on rebuilding my own life. I started by reconnecting with old friends, people I had lost touch with over the years. They were supportive, offering a listening ear and a chance to reminisce about better times. Slowly, I began to rediscover the parts of myself that had been buried under the weight of my marriage. I also threw myself into new hobbies and activities. I took up painting, something I had always wanted to try but never found the time for. The creative process was therapeutic, allowing me to express my emotions in a way that words couldn't. I joined a local hiking group, finding solace in the outdoors and the camaraderie of new friends. One day, while hiking through a scenic trail, I met Jennifer. She was vibrant and full of life, with a contagious enthusiasm that drew me in. We started talking, and I found myself opening up to her in a way I hadn't with anyone else since the divorce. She listened without judgment, offering empathy and understanding. Over time, our connection grew. Jennifer became a regular part of my life, and I began to see a future that wasn't overshadowed by the past. She helped me see that I could find happiness again, that I could build something new and beautiful from the ashes of my old life. Emily continued to try to contact me, but I remained firm in my resolve. My life was moving forward, and I had no intention of letting her drag me back into the chaos. I blocked her number and focused on the people who truly mattered. As the months turned into a year, I looked back on everything that had happened with a sense of closure. The betrayal, the revenge, the heartbreak. It was all part of a chapter that had finally come to an end. I had emerged from the darkness stronger, wiser, and ready to embrace the future. Emily's downfall was complete, but more importantly, so was my transformation. I had found peace, not in revenge, but in rediscovering myself and opening my heart to new possibilities. The journey was far from over, but I knew I was on the right path. With Jennifer by my side, I felt a renewed sense of hope and purpose. Together, we were building a new life, one filled with love, trust, and endless possibilities. The past was behind me, and the future had never looked brighter. Our days were filled with joy and discovery. Jennifer and I traveled, exploring new places and creating memories. We visited art galleries, hiked through forests, and spent evenings by the fire, talking about everything and nothing. She brought a lightness to my life that I hadn't felt in years. The support from my friends and newfound community also played a crucial role in my healing. They reminded me of who I was before the betrayal, helping me reclaim my identity. Their encouragement and companionship were invaluable as I navigated this new chapter. One evening, as Jennifer and I sat on the porch watching the sunset, she turned to me with a thoughtful expression. "John, do you ever think about what happened with Emily and Mike?" I paused, considering her question. "Sometimes," I admitted, "but not with anger anymore. It's more like a lesson learned. It taught me what I truly value and how I want to live my life." She smiled, taking my hand in hers. "I'm glad to hear that. You've come so far, and I'm grateful to be part of your journey." As I looked into her eyes, I realized how much I had healed. The scars were still there, but they no longer defined me. They were just part of my story, a testament to my resilience and growth. The journey wasn't easy, and there were still moments of doubt and reflection. But I'd found a new path, one filled with love, friendship, and self-discovery. The seeds of revenge had given way to the seeds of a new life, one that I nurtured with care and gratitude. And so, as the sun set on another day, I felt a profound sense of peace. The past was behind me, the future was full of promise, and I was surrounded by people who cared for me. The pain of betrayal had been transformed into strength, and I was ready to embrace whatever came next. As the dust settled from the chaos of Emily's public disgrace and our bitter separation, I found myself increasingly focused on ensuring that the financial fallout would be just as thorough. My divorce attorney, David, had been a stalwart ally throughout the ordeal, and it was time to dive deeper into the hidden aspects of our shared financial life. One afternoon, I sat in David's office, surrounded by stacks of documents and spreadsheets. The sun filtered through the blinds, casting striped shadows across the table. David, a meticulous man in his mid-40s with a no-nonsense demeanor, looked up from his laptop and nodded. "John, we've uncovered quite a bit already, but there's more to this," he said, his tone serious. "Emily was very careful, but there are always trails. We need to follow the money." I agreed, and over the next few weeks, David and his team began a forensic analysis of our finances. They scrutinized bank statements, tax returns, and investment portfolios. It wasn't long before they discovered several offshore accounts that Emily had meticulously hidden, each one filled with funds she had siphoned off over the years. "Here's the thing," David said during one of our meetings, pointing to a series of transactions on his screen. These transfers were all made under the radar. She's been planning this for a long time. The revelation of her deceit was like a knife twisting in the wound, but it also fueled my determination. I authorized David to take legal action to freeze these accounts and ensure that they were included in the divorce settlement. The court sided with us, and Emily's financial advantage quickly evaporated. Next, we turned our attention to the property. Emily had invested in several real estate ventures without my knowledge. These properties, scattered across different states, were now under scrutiny. With David's help, we ensured that I received my fair share of these investments. This not only leveled the playing field, but also provided a substantial financial cushion for my future. While the legal battles raged on, I focused on strengthening my personal and professional life. I reconnected with old colleagues and began taking on new projects at work, immersing myself in tasks that reignited my passion and drive. The distraction was welcome, and it helped me rebuild my confidence. Meanwhile, Emily was facing her own set of challenges. The legal victories we achieved left her financially crippled. The lifestyle she had been accustomed to was no longer sustainable. She had to sell off properties and liquidate assets to cover her expenses and legal fees. The woman who had once been so confident and assured was now struggling to keep her head above water. Throughout this period, Jennifer was a constant source of support. Her presence in my life was a beacon of hope and stability. We spent weekends exploring hiking trails, cooking together, and simply enjoying each other's company. Her laughter was infectious, and her optimism was a balm for my wounded heart. One evening, as we sat on the porch of my newly acquired lakeside cabin, a place I had bought with my share of the property settlements, Jennifer turned to me, her eyes filled with concern. "John, are you sure you're okay?" she asked gently. "I mean, really okay? This has been a lot to handle." I took her hand and squeezed it reassuringly. "I am, Jen. It's been a rough journey, but having you by my side has made all the difference. I'm starting to feel like myself again." Her smile was all the reassurance I needed. Together, we began to envision a future that was no longer marred by the shadows of the past. As the financial battles drew to a close, I felt a sense of closure. Emily had tried to undermine me at every turn, but in the end, her own actions had led to her downfall. The money, the properties, the secret accounts, none of it could replace the trust and love she had shattered. The final court ruling came in my favor. The hidden assets were divided equitably, and Emily was left with a fraction of what she had tried to secure for herself. Justice had been served, and I felt a profound sense of relief. Standing on the porch of the cabin, looking out over the tranquil waters of the lake, I realized how far I had come. The journey had been fraught with pain and betrayal, but it had also been a path to self-discovery and renewal. With Jennifer's hand in mine, I was ready to embrace the future, leaving the past firmly behind. The financial war was over, and I had emerged victorious. But more importantly, I had found a new beginning, one built on the lessons of the past and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. In the ensuing months, my life took on a new rhythm, one marked by stability and purpose. The financial settlements not only secured my future, but also provided me with the means to explore new ventures. I invested in a tech startup, something I had always been passionate about, but never had the time or resources to pursue. The thrill of building something from the ground up reignited my entrepreneurial spirit. Jennifer and I continued to grow closer, our bond deepening with each passing day. We took spontaneous weekend trips, discovering quaint towns and scenic landscapes. Each journey was a testament to the joy of living in the moment and the freedom of leaving the past behind. One evening, as we sat by the fireplace in the cabin, Jennifer looked at me with a twinkle in her eye. "John, have you ever thought about writing a book? Your story is incredible, and I think it could help a lot of people." I pondered her suggestion. Writing had always been a hobby of mine, and the idea of sharing my experiences resonated deeply. "You know, Jen, I think you might be onto something. Maybe it's time to put pen to paper." Over the next few months, I began to chronicle my journey. Writing became a therapeutic outlet, allowing me to process the tumultuous events and reflect on the lessons learned. The book, tentatively titled From Betrayal to Rebirth, took shape as a testament to the resilience and the power of new beginnings. As I worked on the manuscript, I received an unexpected call from an old friend, Mark, who had heard about my ordeal and wanted to reconnect. We met for coffee, and it was as if no time had passed. Mark's presence was a reminder of the enduring bonds of true friendship, and our conversations brought a sense of closure to old wounds. The official book launch was held in the very restaurant where my life had begun to unravel. The irony was not lost on me, but the venue now symbolized not an end, but a beginning. Friends, family, and even former colleagues gathered to celebrate this new chapter. Jennifer stood by my side, her support unwavering. As I addressed the audience, I felt a surge of emotion. This book is more than just a story of betrayal and revenge. It's about finding oneself in the midst of chaos, about rebuilding and rediscovering what truly matters. It's a journey of healing, and I hope it inspires others to find their own path to renewal. The applause was thunderous, and at that moment, I knew I had come full circle. The pain of the past had been transformed into a beacon of hope for the future. Life, I realized, was a series of chapters, each one building upon the last. And as I stood there, surrounded by people who cared about me, I felt ready to embrace whatever came next. With the financial battles behind me and a sense of stability returning to my life, I decided it was time to rebuild my social network. Over the years, I'd allowed my relationships with friends and family to wither as I focused on my marriage and career. Now, I saw an opportunity to reconnect with old friends and forge new connections that could help me move forward. The first step was reaching out to Tom, my best friend from college. We had lost touch after graduation, but I remembered him as a loyal and supportive friend. I found his number in an old contact list and decided to give him a call. "Tom, it's John. It's been too long. How have you been?" I asked, trying to keep my voice casual. "John, wow, it's great to hear from you," Tom replied, his voice filled with genuine warmth. "I've been good, man. Busy with work and family. How about you?" We spent the next hour catching up, sharing stories about our lives and reminiscing about our college days. I told him about the divorce and the turmoil of the past year, and he listened with understanding and empathy. "John, I'm really sorry to hear about what happened," Tom said, "but I'm glad you reached out. We should get together sometime. Maybe a weekend fishing trip like the old days." The idea of a fishing trip sounded perfect. It was exactly the kind of low-key, relaxing activity I needed. We made plans to meet up the following weekend at a nearby lake. That weekend, Tom and I sat by the water, fishing rods in hand, talking about everything from old memories to future plans. It felt good to be in the company of a trusted friend, someone who knew me well and could offer support without judgment. As I reconnected with Tom, I also made an effort to rebuild relationships with other friends and family members. I reached out to my sister, Laura, whom I hadn't seen in months. We met for coffee, and she filled me in on her life and family. I apologized for being distant, and she forgave me without hesitation. "John, I know you've been through a lot," Laura said, her voice gentle. "But you're my brother, and I'll always be here for you. Let's not let so much time pass between us again." Her words meant more to me than she could know. It felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders, and I vowed to stay connected with the people who truly mattered. In addition to reconnecting with old friends and family, I also made an effort to expand my social circle. I joined a local hiking group, hoping to meet new people who shared my interests. The group met every Saturday, exploring different trails and enjoying the beauty of nature. On one of these hikes, I met Sam and Liz, a married couple who were avid hikers and outdoor enthusiasts. We quickly became friends, bonding over our love of the outdoors and shared experiences. They invited me to join them for a weekend camping trip, and I eagerly accepted. The camping trip was a turning point for me. Surrounded by new friends and the tranquility of the wilderness, I felt a sense of peace and belonging that had been missing from my life. We spent our days hiking and exploring, and our nights around the campfire, sharing stories and laughter. One evening, as we sat around the fire, Sam turned to me and said, "John, you're a great guy. We're really glad to have met you. It's been fun having you around." I smiled, feeling a warmth that went beyond the campfire. "Thanks, Sam. I feel the same way. It's been great getting to know you both." As I built new connections and strengthened old ones, I realized that I was no longer defined by my past. The betrayal and heartbreak were part of my story, but they didn't have to be the end of it. I was creating a new chapter, one filled with friendship, adventure, and hope. Jennifer continued to be a pillar of support throughout this process. She encouraged me to pursue my interests and stay connected with my friends. Her presence in my life was a constant reminder that love and trust were still possible, even after the pain I had endured. One evening, as we sat on the porch of the lakeside cabin watching the sunset, Jennifer turned to me and said, "John, I'm so proud of you. You've come so far, and you're rebuilding your life in such a beautiful way." I looked at her, feeling a surge of gratitude and affection. "I couldn't have done it without you, Jen. You've been my rock through all of this." She smiled and took my hand. "We're in this together, and I'm excited to see what the future holds for us." As I sat there, holding Jennifer's hand and looking out over the peaceful lake, I knew that the worst was behind me. The journey had been difficult, but it had also led me to a place of healing and renewal. Surrounded by friends, family, and the woman I loved, I felt a sense of contentment and optimism that I hadn't felt in years. The past was a part of me, but it no longer defined me. I was ready to embrace the future, one step at a time, with the people who mattered most by my side. Life took on a vibrant new rhythm, and the bonds I had worked to restore and create became a vital part of my daily existence. I found myself frequently in the company of friends, sharing meals, stories, and laughter. The void left by Emily's betrayal was gradually being filled with genuine connections and meaningful interactions. At work, my renewed focus and energy were evident. I took on challenging projects, collaborated with colleagues, and even mentored younger employees. My professional life, once overshadowed by personal turmoil, flourished as I rediscovered my passion and drive. Jennifer and I continued to explore new adventures together. We took weekend trips to nearby towns, attended local festivals, and tried our hand at new hobbies like kayaking and photography. Each new experience was a testament to our shared commitment to living fully and joyfully. One crisp autumn morning, as Jennifer and I hiked a trail through a forest of golden leaves, she paused and turned to me with a thoughtful expression. "John, have you ever thought about giving back to the community? Maybe volunteering or mentoring? You have so much to offer." Her suggestion resonated with me. I had been given a second chance, and it felt right to share my journey and support others. I decided to volunteer at a local youth center, offering mentorship and guidance to young people navigating their own challenges. The youth center became a place of purpose and fulfillment for me. I met incredible young individuals, each with their own dreams and struggles. Helping them find their path and encouraging them to believe in themselves was profoundly rewarding. Their resilience and optimism were a constant source of inspiration. As time went on, Jennifer and I grew even closer. We celebrated milestones, supported each other through difficult times, and dreamed about the future. One evening, as we sat on the porch of the cabin gazing at the stars, Jennifer took my hand and said, "John, I can't imagine my life without you. You've brought so much joy and love into my world." I looked into her eyes, feeling a deep sense of gratitude and love. "Jen, you've been my anchor through everything. I'm so grateful for you, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for us." Our bond was strong, built on mutual respect, trust, and a shared vision for the future. We continued to explore new horizons together, always supporting each other's growth and dreams. As the years passed, I realized that the journey I had embarked on after Emily's betrayal had led me to a place of profound happiness and fulfillment. The pain and heartache had been transformed into resilience and strength. I had built a life filled with love, friendship, purpose, and adventure. The past was a distant memory, no longer a shadow over my present or future. With Jennifer, my friends, family, and the young people I mentored, I created a community of support and positivity. Together, we faced life's challenges and celebrated its joys. As I stood on the porch of the lakeside cabin, looking out over the tranquil waters, I felt a deep sense of peace. The journey had been long and difficult, but it had also been a path to healing and renewal. Surrounded by the people who mattered most, I was ready to embrace whatever the future held. With the re-establishment of old connections and the formation of new ones, I began to feel a resurgence of purpose and identity. The next phase of my journey was about personal growth and reinvention. I wanted to rediscover my passions and redefine who I was, both professionally and personally. One area I had always been interested in but never fully explored was public speaking. In college, I had been a member of the debate team, but over the years, I had let that interest fade. Now, with my life taking a new direction, I decided it was time to rekindle that passion. I signed up for a local Toastmasters club, eager to improve my public speaking skills and build my confidence. At my first meeting, I was nervous, but excited. The club members were welcoming, and their enthusiasm was contagious. As the weeks went by, I found myself growing more comfortable speaking in front of others. I shared my story, discussed topics I was passionate about, and received constructive feedback that helped me improve. It felt liberating to express myself and be heard. One evening after a particularly successful speech, the club president, Mark, approached me. "John, you've got a natural talent for this," he said, smiling. "Have you ever considered speaking at larger events or even taking on a leadership role here?" His words sparked something in me. The idea of taking on a leadership role or speaking at larger events was both daunting and exhilarating. I decided to push myself further and explore these opportunities. Mark's encouragement was a catalyst, propelling me to take my public speaking to the next level. Around this time, I also decided to pursue a long-standing interest in entrepreneurship. I had always dreamed of starting my own business, but had never taken the plunge. With the financial settlements from the divorce providing a cushion, I felt it was the perfect time to take that leap. I spent months researching different industries, analyzing market trends, and brainstorming ideas. Eventually, I settled on a concept that combined my professional experience with my personal interests. A consultancy firm focused on helping small businesses improve their operations and customer service. It was a field I was passionate about, and I knew I had the expertise to make a difference. Launching the business was both challenging and rewarding. I poured my energy into building a brand, networking with potential clients, and delivering high-quality services. The initial response was overwhelmingly positive, and the business quickly gained traction. It was incredibly fulfilling to see my vision come to life and to know that I was making a tangible impact on other businesses. Jennifer was my biggest supporter throughout this journey. She believed in me even when I had doubts, and her encouragement was invaluable. We often spent evenings discussing ideas, strategizing, and celebrating small victories. Her unwavering support made me feel like I could achieve anything. One evening, as we celebrated landing a significant client, Jennifer turned to me with a thoughtful expression. "John, you've transformed so much over the past year. It's amazing to see you so passionate and driven." I smiled, feeling a deep sense of gratitude. "I couldn't have done it without you, Jen. You've been my rock through all of this." She leaned in and kissed me. "We're a team, and I'm so proud of you." As the business continued to grow, I also made a conscious effort to improve my physical and mental well-being. I joined a gym and committed to a regular workout routine. Exercise became a form of therapy, helping me release stress and feel more energized. I also started practicing mindfulness and meditation, finding that it brought a sense of peace and clarity to my often hectic days. With my renewed focus on personal growth, I decided to take a long overdue trip. I had always wanted to visit Europe, and now seemed like the perfect time. Jennifer and I planned a 2-week vacation, exploring cities like Paris, Rome, and Barcelona. The trip was a celebration of new beginnings and a chance to immerse ourselves in different cultures and experiences. Walking the streets of Paris, enjoying the art and history of Rome, and soaking in the vibrant energy of Barcelona was invigorating. It reminded me of the vast possibilities that life had to offer. Jennifer and I grew even closer during this trip, sharing unforgettable moments and creating new memories. Upon returning home, I felt more alive and inspired than ever. The trip had been a reminder that life was meant to be lived fully, and I was determined to make the most of every moment. The experiences abroad broadened my horizons and fueled my desire to continue growing and evolving. Back in my lakeside cabin, I often found myself reflecting on the journey I had taken. From the depths of betrayal and heartbreak, I had risen stronger and more resilient. I had rediscovered my passions, built new connections, and created a life that was authentic and fulfilling. The path ahead was still uncertain, but I was ready to face whatever challenges came my way. With Jennifer by my side, a thriving business, and a renewed sense of purpose, I felt more prepared than ever to embrace the future. The journey of reinvention was ongoing, but I was confident that I was on the right path. The past had shaped me, but it did not define me. I was living proof that even in the face of adversity, it was possible to rebuild, reinvent, and thrive. The sense of empowerment I felt from public speaking and entrepreneurship spurred me to continue exploring new avenues for growth. Inspired by my progress, I set another ambitious goal: to write a book about my journey. It was an idea that had been simmering in my mind ever since Jennifer first suggested it, and now I felt ready to take on the challenge. I dedicated my mornings to writing, drawing from my experiences of betrayal, resilience, and reinvention. The process was both cathartic and invigorating. I poured my heart into the pages, hoping that my story would resonate with others who had faced similar trials. The book took shape slowly, each chapter a reflection of the lessons I had learned along the way. As the manuscript neared completion, I shared it with Jennifer and a few close friends for feedback. Their responses were overwhelmingly positive, and their encouragement gave me the confidence to pursue publication. I reached out to several publishers, and after a few months of waiting and negotiating, I received an offer. The book, titled Asterisk, Rising from the Ashes, A Journey of Betrayal, Resilience, and Renewal. Asterisk was set to be published the following year. The announcement of the book's release brought a new wave of excitement and anticipation. I scheduled book signings and speaking engagements, eager to share my story with a broader audience. The opportunity to inspire others and offer hope to those facing their own challenges was incredibly fulfilling. In addition to my professional pursuits, I continued to deepen my personal relationships. Jennifer and I moved in together, creating a home filled with love and laughter. Our weekends were spent exploring new hiking trails, cooking gourmet meals, and hosting gatherings with friends. Our bond grew stronger with each passing day, and we often talked about our dreams for the future. One sunny afternoon, while hiking a scenic trail, Jennifer stopped and turned to me, her eyes shining with excitement. "John, I've been thinking, what do you think about starting a family?" The question caught me off guard, but as I looked into her eyes, I felt a surge of joy and possibility. "Jen, I think that's a wonderful idea. I've always wanted a family, and I can't imagine a better partner to share that dream with." We embraced, filled with hope and anticipation for the next chapter of our lives. The idea of starting a family added a new layer of purpose and meaning to our relationship. We began making plans, discussing everything from potential baby names to how we would balance our careers and family life. As my book launch approached, I found myself reflecting on the incredible journey I had taken. From the depths of betrayal and heartbreak, I had risen to build a life filled with love, purpose, and joy. The path had been far from easy, but every challenge had strengthened my resolve and shaped me into the person I am today. The day of the book launch was a whirlwind of emotions. Friends, family, and supporters gathered at the event, eager to celebrate this milestone with me. As I stood before the audience, ready to share my story, I felt a deep sense of gratitude for the journey I had taken and the people who had supported me along the way. "Thank you all for being here," I began, my voice steady and confident. "This book is more than just my story. It's a testament to the power of resilience and the possibility of new beginnings. No matter what challenges you face, know that it's possible to rebuild, reinvent, and thrive." The applause that followed was overwhelming, and as I signed copies of my book and spoke with attendees, I felt a profound sense of fulfillment. The journey of reinvention was ongoing, but I was more confident than ever that I was on the right path. With Jennifer by my side, a thriving business, and a new chapter of family life on the horizon, I was ready to embrace whatever the future held. The past had shaped me, but it did not define me. I was living proof that even in the face of adversity, it was possible to rise from the ashes and create a life of meaning, purpose, and joy. Life had settled into a pleasant rhythm. My business was flourishing, my social circle was expanding, and Jennifer and I were growing closer with each passing day. I had finally found a sense of peace and purpose. But life has a way of throwing curveballs when you least expect it. One afternoon, as I was wrapping up a meeting with a potential client, my phone buzzed with a message that made my heart sink. "John, we need to talk. It's important. Please meet me at our old house tomorrow at 2 p.m. Emily." The message took me by surprise. I hadn't heard from Emily in months. The bitterness and anger I once felt had given way to indifference, but seeing her name on my screen brought back a flood of memories. I debated whether to respond, but curiosity got the better of me. I needed to know what she wanted. The next day, I drove to the house we had shared for over 2 decades. The memories of our life together felt like ghosts lurking in every corner. As I pulled into the driveway, I saw Emily waiting on the porch. She looked different, tired, almost defeated. I took a deep breath and stepped out of the car. "John, thank you for coming," she said, her voice subdued. "What do you want, Emily?" I asked, keeping my tone as neutral as possible. She motioned for me to sit down on the porch swing. Reluctantly, I complied. There was an awkward silence before she finally spoke. "John, I've made a lot of mistakes," she began, her eyes downcast. "I've lost almost everything, my job, my reputation, my friends. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I need to talk to you about something important." I remained silent, waiting for her to continue. "I've been in therapy," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "I've been trying to understand why I did what I did and how I can make amends. Part of that process is facing the people I've hurt, and I know I've hurt you more than anyone." The sincerity in her voice was unexpected, but I remained cautious. "What do you want from me, Emily?" She took a deep breath. "I want to apologize, John. Truly. I've been selfish and cruel. I know I can't undo the past, but I need you to know that I'm sorry. And there's something else." She reached into her bag and pulled out a folder, handing it to me. "This is everything. All the hidden accounts, investments, everything I kept from you. I've come to realize that trying to hold on to this money is meaningless. I want to give you your share, as you rightfully deserve." I took the folder and scanned through the documents. It was all there, meticulously detailed. This act of restitution was unexpected, and for a moment, I didn't know how to respond. "Why now, Emily?" I asked, looking up at her. "Because I've hit rock bottom," she admitted, "and I realized that I can't move forward without trying to make things right. It's not just about the money. It's about owning up to my actions and facing the consequences." Her words hung in the air. I felt a mixture of emotions, anger, sadness, and a strange sense of closure. This was the apology I had longed for, but now that it was here, it felt almost anticlimactic. "I appreciate the gesture, Emily," I said slowly, "but you need to understand that this doesn't change what happened. It doesn't erase the pain or betrayal." "I know," she replied softly. "I don't expect it to, but I hope it's a start, for both of us." There was a long silence as we both processed the conversation. Finally, I stood up. "I need some time to think about this, but thank you for coming forward." Emily nodded, tears glistening in her eyes. "Take all the time you need, John. I just hope someday you can find it in your heart to forgive me." I didn't respond, turning instead to walk back to my car. As I drove away, I felt a strange sense of release. Emily's apology didn't erase the past, but it did offer a semblance of closure. It was the beginning of a new chapter, one where I could fully let go of the past and embrace the future without lingering resentment. That evening, I told Jennifer about my meeting with Emily. She listened patiently, her hand in mine, offering silent support. "How do you feel about it?" she asked gently. "I'm not sure yet," I admitted. "It's a lot to process, but I think it's a step in the right direction, for both of us." Jennifer nodded. "You don't have to decide anything right away. Just know that I'm here for you, whatever you choose." Her words were comforting, and I felt a deep sense of gratitude for her presence in my life. Together, we would navigate whatever came next. As I lay in bed that night, I realized that this journey of healing and reinvention was far from over. Emily's apology was just one part of it. The rest was up to me: how I chose to move forward, how I rebuilt my life, and how I embraced the new opportunities ahead. For the first time in a long while, I felt a sense of peace. The past was behind me, and the future was mine to shape. With Jennifer by my side and a renewed sense of purpose, I was ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. In the days following my meeting with Emily, I found myself reflecting on our conversation and what it meant for my journey. Her apology had been sincere, and her gesture of restitution was significant. But I knew that forgiveness was a process, not a single moment. I decided to reach out to my therapist, Dr. Mitchell, to discuss my feelings and seek guidance. During our session, I shared the details of my encounter with Emily and my mixed emotions about her apology. "John, it's natural to feel conflicted," Dr. Mitchell said thoughtfully. Forgiveness is a deeply personal journey. It's about finding peace within yourself, regardless of whether the other person deserves it. Take your time and allow yourself to process these emotions. Her words resonated with me. I realized that forgiveness was not about absolving Emily of her actions, but about freeing myself from the lingering pain and resentment. It was a step towards healing and moving forward. As I continued to navigate this emotional terrain, I leaned on Jennifer for support. She was a constant source of strength, offering a listening ear and encouraging me to take things at my own pace. Our relationship grew even stronger as we faced this new challenge together. One evening, as we sat by the lake, Jennifer turned to me with a thoughtful expression. "John, have you considered writing about this part of your journey? It might help you process your feelings and offer others insight into the complexities of forgiveness." The idea intrigued me. Writing has always been a therapeutic outlet, and sharing this experience could provide a deeper understanding of my journey. I decided to incorporate this chapter into my book, exploring the themes of forgiveness, healing, and personal growth. As I wrote, I found clarity and a sense of release. Putting my thoughts and emotions into words helped me process the events and see the broader picture. I realized that my journey was not just about overcoming betrayal, but also about rediscovering myself and finding inner peace. Emily's gesture of restitution also provided an unexpected opportunity. The financial documents she had given me revealed assets I hadn't been aware of, and with David's help, I was able to secure my share. This newfound financial stability allowed me to expand my business and invest in new ventures. With Jennifer's encouragement, I decided to use part of the money to establish a scholarship fund for young entrepreneurs. It was a way to give back to the community and support others in pursuing their dreams. The scholarship fund quickly gained traction, and I felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that I was making a positive impact. As the months passed, I continued to build my life with purpose and intention. Jennifer and I grew even closer, sharing dreams of the future and creating new memories. Our bond was unbreakable, built on mutual respect, trust, and love. One afternoon, as we sat in our favorite cafe, Jennifer reached across the table and took my hand. "John, I have something to tell you," she said, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "I'm pregnant." The news took my breath away. A flood of emotions washed over me. Joy, excitement, and an overwhelming sense of love. "Jen, that's incredible. I'm so happy." We embraced, tears of happiness streaming down our faces. This new chapter in our lives was a testament to the journey we had taken together, a journey of healing, growth, and new beginnings. As we prepared for the arrival of our child, I felt a profound sense of gratitude. The past had shaped me, but it no longer defined me. I had risen from the ashes of betrayal and built a life filled with love, purpose, and hope. With Jennifer by my side and a growing family, I was ready to embrace the future with open arms. The journey of reinvention was ongoing, but I was confident that I was on the right path. The past was behind me, and the future was filled with endless possibilities. The days following my meeting with Emily were filled with introspection. Her unexpected apology and attempt at restitution stirred emotions I thought I had buried. But as the initial shock wore off, I realized that it was time to fully embrace the future and the opportunities it held. I decided to channel my renewed energy into expanding my business. My consultancy firm had been doing well, but I knew it had the potential for even greater growth. I began networking more aggressively, attending industry conferences, and seeking out partnerships that could elevate my business to new heights. One such opportunity came in the form of a business expo in New York. It was a massive event, attracting entrepreneurs and industry leaders from around the world. I decided to attend, eager to learn, connect, and showcase my consultancy. The expo was a whirlwind of activity. I attended seminars, participated in workshops, and made valuable connections. It was invigorating to be surrounded by like-minded individuals, all driven by a shared passion for innovation and success. On the second day of the expo, I was approached by Lisa, a dynamic and influential businesswoman known for her successful tech startups. She had heard about my consultancy through mutual connections and was interested in discussing a potential collaboration. "John, I've heard great things about your work," Lisa said, extending her hand with a confident smile. I think there's a lot of synergy between our companies. How about we discuss it over lunch? We spent the afternoon discussing our visions and exploring ways we could work together. Lisa's enthusiasm was infectious, and her innovative approach to business was inspiring. By the end of the lunch, we had sketched out a plan for a collaborative project that could significantly boost both our businesses. Returning from the expo, I felt a renewed sense of purpose. The potential partnership with Lisa was exciting, and it was a clear indicator that my business was on the right track. I shared the news with Jennifer, who was thrilled and supportive as always. "That sounds amazing, John," she exclaimed. "I'm so proud of you. This could be a game changer." "I think it will be," I agreed. "And it's all thanks to the new direction my life has taken. I feel like everything is finally falling into place." As the partnership with Lisa took shape, I also continued to focus on my personal growth. I enrolled in a few online courses to expand my knowledge in areas that could benefit my business, such as digital marketing and advanced business strategy. The more I learned, the more confident I felt in my ability to lead my company to new heights. Jennifer and I also made time for ourselves, ensuring that our relationship remained strong amidst our busy schedules. We took weekend trips, explored new hobbies, and enjoyed quiet evenings at the lakeside cabin. Our bond grew deeper, and I knew that she was the partner I wanted by my side for the rest of my life. One evening, as we sat on the porch watching the sunset, I turned to Jennifer with a serious expression. "Jen, I've been thinking a lot about our future. I know we've both been through a lot, but I can't imagine my life without you. I want to build a future together, officially." Her eyes widened, and she smiled. "John, are you saying what I think you're saying?" I nodded, taking her hand in mine. "Jennifer, will you marry me?" Tears welled up in her eyes as she nodded. "Yes, John, of course I will." The joy and love I felt in that moment were overwhelming. We were starting a new chapter together, one filled with hope, love, and endless possibilities. As the months passed, the partnership with Lisa flourished. Our collaborative projects brought significant growth to both our businesses, and we established a strong professional bond. My consultancy gained a reputation for excellence, attracting even more clients and opportunities. Emily's apology and restitution allowed me to close that chapter of my life with a sense of finality. It was a reminder that while the past shapes us, it doesn't have to define our future. I had learned to forgive, not for Emily's sake, but for my own peace of mind. With Jennifer by my side, a thriving business, and a bright future ahead, I felt a sense of fulfillment and contentment I hadn't thought possible. Life had thrown its challenges my way, but I had emerged stronger and more resilient. The journey of healing, reinvention, and growth was ongoing, but I was ready for whatever lay ahead. Surrounded by love, supported by friends, and driven by passion, I knew that the best was yet to come. The momentum from the expo and partnership with Lisa continued to build, opening doors I hadn't even considered before. One of the most exciting opportunities came when I was invited to speak at a major industry conference in San Francisco. This event was a big deal, attracting top business leaders and entrepreneurs from across the globe. It was the perfect platform to share my story and insights, and to position my consultancy firm as a leader in the field. I prepared meticulously for my presentation, combining lessons from my journey with actionable advice for business growth and resilience. On the day of the conference, standing backstage, I felt a familiar mix of nerves and excitement. As I walked onto the stage, the applause was both humbling and empowering. "Good morning," I began, scanning the faces in the audience. "Today I want to talk about transformation, not just in business but in life. Because sometimes, the biggest challenges we face are the ones that push us to grow in ways we never imagined." For the next hour, I shared my journey of betrayal, recovery, and reinvention. I spoke about the importance of resilience, the power of community, and the necessity of embracing change. The response was overwhelming. Attendees approached me afterward, thanking me for my honesty and sharing their own stories of overcoming adversity. One particular interaction stood out. A young entrepreneur named Ethan approached me with a look of determination. "John, your story really resonated with me. I'm going through a tough time with my startup, but listening to you has given me hope. Thank you." His words reminded me of why I had embarked on this journey in the first place. It wasn't just about building a successful business, it was about making a difference and inspiring others to find their own paths to success. As the conference ended, I returned home with a renewed sense of purpose. The feedback and connections I had made in San Francisco were invaluable. I decided to expand my consultancy services, offering workshops and seminars aimed at helping other entrepreneurs build resilience and navigate challenges. Jennifer was, as always, my biggest supporter. She encouraged me to take risks and celebrate successes, no matter how small. Her unwavering belief in me was a constant source of strength. One evening, after a particularly fulfilling workshop, we sat by the fireplace, enjoying a quiet moment together. "John, you've come so far," she said softly. "I'm so proud of everything you've achieved." I took her hand, feeling a deep sense of gratitude. "I couldn't have done it without you, Jen. Your support means everything to me." As our wedding day approached, I found myself reflecting on the journey that had brought me to this point. The pain and betrayal of the past had been transformed into a life filled with love, purpose, and endless possibilities. Jennifer and I planned a small, intimate ceremony by the lake, surrounded by close friends and family. The day of our wedding was perfect. The sun shone brightly, and the air was filled with laughter and joy. As Jennifer walked down the aisle, I felt my heart swell with love and gratitude. She was my rock, my partner, my best friend. "Do you, John, take Jennifer to be your lawfully wedded wife, to have and to hold in sickness and in health, for as long as you both shall live?" "I do," I said, my voice steady and full of conviction. "And do you, Jennifer, take John to be your lawfully wedded husband, to have and to hold in sickness and in health, for as long as you both shall live?" "I do," Jennifer replied, her eyes shining with tears of happiness. As we exchanged rings and sealed our vows with a kiss, I knew that this was just the beginning of a beautiful journey together. Our love was stronger than ever, and our future was bright with promise. The reception was filled with heartfelt toasts, dancing, and laughter. Surrounded by the people who mattered most, Jennifer and I celebrated our love and the life we had built together. As the sun set over the lake, I felt a profound sense of peace and fulfillment. The journey of healing and reinvention had led me to this moment, and I was ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. With Jennifer by my side, a thriving business, and a community of support, I knew that the best was yet to come. The past had shaped me, but it did not define me. I was living proof that even in the face of adversity, it was possible to rebuild, reinvent, and thrive. As Jennifer and I began planning our future together, I found myself reflecting more and more on the concept of forgiveness. Emily's apology stirred up a complex mix of emotions, and while I had acknowledged her efforts to make amends, I realized that true forgiveness was a journey I hadn't fully completed. For my own peace of mind and emotional well-being, I needed to confront my feelings and genuinely let go of the past. One evening, Jennifer and I were sitting on the porch, enjoying the cool evening breeze. She noticed my pensive mood and gently asked, "John, are you okay? You seem lost in thought." I sighed, looking out over the tranquil lake. "I've been thinking a lot about Emily and everything that happened. I want to move on completely, but I feel like there's still a part of me holding on to the past." Jennifer squeezed my hand. "Forgiveness is a process, John. It's not something that happens overnight, but if it's something you want to work on, I'm here to support you." Her words gave me the encouragement I needed. I decided to reach out to a therapist who specializes in helping people navigate through complex emotions and relationships. Dr. Stevens came highly recommended, and after a few sessions, I began to feel more clarity. During one of our sessions, Dr. Stevens asked, "John, what does forgiveness mean to you?" I paused, considering my response. "I think forgiveness means letting go of the anger and resentment. It's about finding peace and not letting the past control my present." Dr. Stevens nodded. "That's a good start. Forgiveness doesn't mean you have to forget what happened or excuse the behavior. It's about freeing yourself from the emotional burden." With his guidance, I began to work through my feelings. I wrote letters to Emily that I had never sent, expressing my pain and anger, but also acknowledging the lessons I had learned from the experience. Each letter helped me release a bit more of the emotional weight I had been carrying. Jennifer continued to be my rock throughout this process. She listened without judgment and offered support in any way she could. Our bond grew even stronger as I navigated this journey of forgiveness. One Saturday afternoon, Jennifer suggested a hike in the nearby woods. The fresh air and natural beauty always had a way of clearing my mind. As we walked, I found myself talking about the therapy sessions and the progress I was making. I've realized that holding on to the anger was like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer, I said. It was only hurting me. Letting go is hard, but it's also liberating. Jennifer smiled, her eyes filled with pride. I'm so proud of you, John. You've come so far, and I know you'll continue to grow. Her words were a balm to my soul. I felt a renewed sense of determination to continue on this path. It wasn't just about forgiving Emily, it was about reclaiming my own happiness and peace of mind. A few weeks later, I received an unexpected email from Emily. She had been attending support groups and wanted to share her progress with me. She also mentioned that she had been working on making amends with others she had wronged. Reading her words, I felt a sense of closure. Emily was on her own journey of healing and self-discovery. I didn't need to be involved in her process, but knowing she was taking responsibility for her actions allowed me to finally let go of the residual anger and hurt. In one of my final therapy sessions, Dr. Stevens asked me to reflect on my journey. How do you feel now compared to when you first started? I smiled, feeling a sense of lightness I hadn't felt in years. I feel free from the past, free from the anger, and ready to fully embrace the future. He nodded. Satisfaction is evident in his expression. That's the power of forgiveness, John. It's a gift you give yourself. With the burden of the past finally lifted, I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude for the present. My business was thriving, my relationship with Jennifer was stronger than ever, and I had a supportive network of friends and family. Jennifer and I decided to have a small, intimate wedding at the lakeside cabin. Surrounded by the people who mattered most, we exchanged vows and committed to a future filled with love, support, and mutual respect. As I stood there looking into Jennifer's eyes, I felt a profound sense of peace. The journey to forgiveness had been difficult, but it had also been transformative. I had learned to let go of the past and embrace the present, and in doing so, I had found a happiness I never thought possible. With Jennifer by my side and a bright future ahead, I knew that I was ready for whatever life had in store. The past was behind me, and the path forward was clear, filled with endless possibilities and the promise of new beginnings. In the weeks following our wedding, Jennifer and I settled into married life with a renewed sense of purpose and joy. The path to forgiveness had not only strengthened my resolve, but it also deepened our relationship. Together, we continued to build a life filled with love, laughter, and shared dreams. One day, while working in my home office, I received a phone call that would further solidify my belief in the power of forgiveness and redemption. It was from Lisa, my business partner. John, I've just received an interesting proposal, she said, her tone serious yet excited. A major corporation is interested in acquiring our consultancy. They see great potential in our collaborative projects and want to expand on what we've built. The news was both thrilling and overwhelming. The opportunity to sell our business to a larger entity was a testament to our hard work and success. However, it also meant making significant decisions about the future. Lisa, this is incredible news, I replied. We need to discuss this in detail. Let's set up a meeting to go over the proposal and consider our options. As we navigated the discussions and negotiations, I found myself reflecting on the journey that had brought me here. The decision to sell the consultancy was not just about financial gain. It was about recognizing the growth and evolution that had occurred both personally and professionally. After weeks of deliberation, Jennifer and I, along with Lisa, decided to move forward with the acquisition. The deal was finalized, and the transition began. The sense of accomplishment was immense, but so was the realization that this marked the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. With the sale of the consultancy, I had the financial freedom and flexibility to explore new ventures and passions. Jennifer and I took a long-awaited trip around the world, visiting places we had always dreamed of seeing. From the bustling streets of Tokyo to the serene beaches of Bali, we immersed ourselves in diverse cultures and experiences. During our travels, I found inspiration for my next venture. I decided to start a foundation focused on supporting entrepreneurs and small businesses, providing them with the resources and mentorship needed to succeed. The foundation would be a way to give back and create a lasting impact. Upon our return, I dove into setting up the foundation, enlisting the help of friends, colleagues, and experts in various fields. The response was overwhelmingly positive, and within months, we had established a network of mentors and partners committed to fostering innovation and growth. The foundation quickly became a hub for aspiring entrepreneurs, offering workshops, funding opportunities, and one-on-one mentorship. Seeing the impact we were making on people's lives brought a profound sense of fulfillment. As the foundation grew, so did our family. Jennifer and I welcomed our first child, a beautiful baby girl named Grace. The joy and love that filled our home were beyond anything I had ever imagined. Grace was a constant reminder of the beauty of new beginnings and the endless possibilities that life had to offer. One evening, as Jennifer and I sat in the nursery watching Grace sleep, I reflected on the journey that had brought us to this moment. "Jen, I feel like we've come full circle," I said softly. "From the pain and betrayal of the past to the incredible life we've built together. It's been an extraordinary journey." Jennifer smiled, her eyes filled with love. "It has, John, and I believe the best is yet to come. We've created something beautiful out of the ashes, and I'm so grateful for every moment we've shared." As I held Jennifer and Grace close, I felt a deep sense of gratitude for the journey of forgiveness, healing, and reinvention. The past had shaped me, but it no longer defined me. The future was bright, filled with endless possibilities and the promise of new beginnings. With my family by my side and a renewed sense of purpose, I was ready to embrace whatever life had in store. The path to forgiveness had led me to a place of peace, love, and fulfillment, and I knew that the journey was far from over. Life had taken on a rhythm that felt both new and deeply satisfying. Jennifer and I were enjoying our life together as a married couple, and my business was growing beyond my wildest expectations. However, just as I had begun to feel that the turbulence of the past was behind me, another surprise was about to shake the foundations of my carefully reconstructed life. One crisp autumn morning, I was in my office reviewing a proposal when my assistant, Linda, knocked on the door. "John, there's a man here to see you. He says it's urgent." "Did he give his name?" I asked, slightly annoyed by the interruption. "Yes, he said his name is Robert Turner." The name didn't ring a bell, but there was something in Linda's expression that made me curious. "All right, send him in." A few moments later, a tall, middle-aged man with a serious expression walked into my office. He looked like he had traveled a great distance and was carrying the weight of something significant. "Mr. Miller, thank you for seeing me on such short notice," he began, extending his hand. "Of course, Mr. Turner. Please, have a seat. What brings you here?" He sat down, taking a deep breath before he started speaking. "John, I'm here because I believe you deserve to know the truth. It's about Emily." My heart sank at the mention of her name. I thought I had put that chapter of my life behind me, but it seemed there was more to the story. "What about Emily?" I asked, my voice steady but my mind racing. "Emily and we were involved, but it's not what you think," he began, hesitating slightly. "I was her lawyer. I handled her divorce from you, but there was something else, something she never told you." I leaned back in my chair, trying to process what he was saying. "Go on." "During the divorce proceedings, Emily confided in me about certain financial transactions. At the time, I believed they were all legal and above board. However, after the divorce was finalized, I started to have doubts." Robert paused, reaching into his briefcase and pulling out a stack of documents. "I've spent the last few months investigating, and what I found out shocked me. Emily was involved in some illegal activities, including money laundering and tax evasion." I felt a cold chill run down my spine. "Are you saying she was using our joint accounts for these activities?" "Yes," Robert replied, handing me the documents. "And there's more. She had offshore accounts and properties under different names. I believe she was trying to hide these assets during the divorce." I looked through the papers, my mind reeling. This was beyond anything I had imagined. "Why are you telling me this now?" "Because I couldn't live with the guilt anymore," he admitted. "I was complicit in her actions, albeit unknowingly, and when I found out the full extent of her deceit, I knew I had to come clean." My emotions were a whirlwind of anger, betrayal, and confusion. "So what do we do now?" "I've already contacted the authorities," Robert said. "There's an ongoing investigation, and they will likely reach out to you for your cooperation. I wanted you to hear it from me first, rather than being blindsided by a subpoena." The magnitude of the situation was overwhelming. I had thought I had moved past the worst of it, but it seemed Emily's treachery ran deeper than I had ever imagined. "Thank you for coming forward," I said finally. "I appreciate your honesty, even if it's come late." Robert stood up, looking relieved. "I'm truly sorry for everything, John. I hope this helps you find some closure." After he left, I sat in my office, staring at the documents. The sense of betrayal I felt was like a fresh wound. Emily had not only betrayed our marriage, but had also tried to ruin me financially and legally. That evening, I told Jennifer everything. She listened with a mixture of shock and support, holding my hand as I explained the situation. "This is unbelievable, John," she said softly. "But we'll get through this together." Her strength and unwavering support were exactly what I needed. The next few weeks were a blur of meetings with lawyers and investigators. I provided all the information I had, hoping to distance myself from Emily's criminal activities. The investigation was thorough, and as the truth came to light, I found myself being pulled into a legal battle I had never anticipated. But with Jennifer by my side and the support of my friends and family, I faced each challenge head-on. Throughout it all, I focused on the business and our life together, refusing to let Emily's actions define my future. Slowly but surely, the investigation began to turn in my favor. The authorities recognized my cooperation and the fact that I had been unaware of Emily's illegal activities. One day, as Jennifer and I were walking along the lakeside, I felt a sense of clarity. The path to forgiveness had been long and arduous, but I realized that true forgiveness also meant forgiving myself for not seeing the signs, for being deceived. "Jen, I think I'm finally ready to put all of this behind me," I said, looking out at the water. She smiled, squeezing my hand. "I'm proud of you, John. You've come so far, and we have so much to look forward to." With the legal battle nearing its end and the truth fully revealed, I felt a renewed sense of freedom. The past had been tumultuous, but it had also shaped me into the person I had become, stronger, wiser, and ready to embrace the future. As we stood there watching the sunset over the lake, I knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, I was ready to face them. With Jennifer by my side and a clear path forward, the future looked brighter than ever. The final stages of the investigation brought a sense of relief as the authorities cleared me of any involvement in Emily's illegal activities. The realization that I was free from her shadow allowed me to focus entirely on my future with Jennifer and our growing family. My business continued to thrive, and the foundation I'd established for aspiring entrepreneurs was making a significant impact. The mentorship programs were flourishing, and we had begun to see the tangible results of our efforts. It was incredibly fulfilling to know that we were helping others achieve their dreams. One afternoon, as I was reviewing reports from the foundation, my phone buzzed with an incoming call. It was Lisa, my business partner. "John, I've just received an interesting proposal," she said, her tone serious yet excited. "A major corporation is interested in acquiring our consultancy. They see great potential in our collaborative projects and want to expand on what we've built." The news was both thrilling and overwhelming. The opportunity to sell our business to a larger entity was a testament to our hard work and success. However, it also meant making significant decisions about the future. "Lisa, this is incredible news," I replied. "We need to discuss this in detail. Let's set up a meeting to go over the proposal and consider our options." As we navigated the discussions and negotiations, I found myself reflecting on the journey that had brought me here. The decision to sell the consultancy was not just about financial gain. It was about recognizing the growth and evolution that had occurred both personally and professionally. After weeks of deliberation, Jennifer and I, along with Lisa, decided to move forward with the acquisition. The deal was finalized, and the transition began. The sense of accomplishment was immense, but so was the realization that this marked the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. With the sale of the consultancy, I had the financial freedom and flexibility to explore new ventures and passions. Jennifer and I took a long-awaited trip around the world, visiting places we had always dreamed of seeing. From the bustling streets of Tokyo to the serene beaches of Bali, we immersed ourselves in diverse cultures and experiences. During our travels, I found inspiration for my next venture. I decided to start a foundation focused on supporting entrepreneurs and small businesses, providing them with the resources and mentorship needed to succeed. The foundation would be a way to give back and create a lasting impact. Upon our return, I dove into setting up the foundation, enlisting the help of friends, colleagues, and experts in various fields. The response was overwhelmingly positive, and within months, we had established a network of mentors and partners committed to fostering innovation and growth. The foundation quickly became a hub for aspiring entrepreneurs, offering workshops, funding opportunities, and one-on-one mentorship. Seeing the impact we were making on people's lives brought a profound sense of fulfillment. As the foundation grew, so did our family. Jennifer and I welcomed our first child, a beautiful baby girl named Grace. The joy and love that filled our home were beyond anything I had ever imagined. Grace was a constant reminder of the beauty of new beginnings and the endless possibilities that life had to offer. One evening, as Jennifer and I sat in the nursery, watching Grace sleep, I reflected on the journey that had brought us to this moment. "Jen, I feel like we've come full circle," I said softly. "From the pain and betrayal of the past to the incredible life we've built together, it's been an extraordinary journey." Jennifer smiled, her eyes filled with love. "It has, John, and I believe the best is yet to come. We've created something beautiful out of the ashes, and I'm so grateful for every moment we've shared." As I held Jennifer and Grace close, I felt a deep sense of gratitude for the journey of forgiveness, healing, and reinvention. The past had shaped me, but it no longer defined me. The future was bright, filled with endless possibilities and the promise of new beginnings. The legal battles and investigations had taken a toll, but as the dust began to settle, I found myself feeling more resilient and determined than ever. The authorities had cleared my name, and the full extent of Emily's deceit was laid bare. With each passing day, the weight of the past lifted a little more, allowing me to focus on the future I was building with Jennifer. However, the story was far from over. One evening, while Jennifer and I were enjoying a quiet dinner at our favorite lakeside restaurant, my phone buzzed with an incoming call. I glanced at the screen and saw an unfamiliar number, hesitating for a moment before answering. "Hello, this is John," I said. "Mr. Miller, this is Detective Harris from the Financial Crimes Division. We've uncovered some new information related to your ex-wife's case. We need you to come down to the station as soon as possible." A sense of foreboding washed over me. "Of course, I'll be there first thing in the morning," I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. Jennifer looked at me with concern. "What's wrong, John?" I sighed, placing my phone back on the table. "Detective Harris, they found new information about Emily's case. I have to go to the station tomorrow." Her hand reached across the table to squeeze mine. "We'll get through this, whatever it is. You're not alone." The next morning, I made my way to the police station, my mind racing with possibilities. Detective Harris greeted me with a firm handshake and led me to a small conference room. "Thank you for coming in, Mr. Miller," he said, gesturing for me to sit. "We've been reviewing more of Emily's financial records and correspondence. There's something you need to see." He handed me a stack of printed emails and bank statements. As I sifted through them, a cold chill settled over me. The documents revealed not only the extent of Emily's illegal activities, but also implicated several other people, including some individuals I knew personally. Among them was a name I hadn't expected to see: Lisa, my business partner. "I don't understand," I stammered. "Lisa was part of this?" Detective Harris nodded. "It appears that Lisa was aware of and even facilitated some of Emily's transactions. We believe she may have been using your business as a cover for laundering money." The room seemed to spin as I processed this new information. Lisa, whom I had trusted and admired, was entangled in the very web of deceit that had nearly destroyed my life. "I had no idea," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "What do we do now?" "We'll need your cooperation again, Mr. Miller," Harris said. "You've been instrumental in helping us unravel this case, and with your continued assistance, we can bring all involved to justice." I left the station in a daze, my mind reeling from the revelation. I had thought the worst was behind me, but it seemed the past was not done with me yet. I drove home in silence, the weight of betrayal heavy on my shoulders. Jennifer was waiting for me when I arrived, her eyes filled with concern. "John, what happened?" I told her everything, from the new evidence to Lisa's involvement. She listened intently, her expression shifting from shock to anger to determination. "We need to be strong," she said firmly. "You've come so far, and we won't let this setback destroy what we've built." Her unwavering support was a beacon of hope. Over the next few weeks, I worked closely with the authorities, providing any information I could about Lisa and her dealings. It was a painful process, but one that was necessary to finally close this chapter of my life. In the meantime, I focused on safeguarding my business and ensuring that the team was insulated from the fallout. I held meetings with key employees, reassuring them of our company's stability and commitment to ethical practices. It was a delicate balancing act, maintaining morale while dealing with the crisis behind the scenes. One evening, as Jennifer and I sat on the porch of our lakeside cabin, I felt a sense of calm wash over me. The lake was serene, the setting sun casting a golden glow over the water. "Jen," I said, breaking the silence, "I've been thinking a lot about everything that's happened. It's been a long road, and I couldn't have made it without you." She smiled, her eyes reflecting the fading light. "We're a team, John. We face everything together." I nodded, feeling a deep sense of gratitude. "I've decided to take a step back from the business, at least for a little while. I need to focus on us, on our life together." Jennifer's smile widened. "I think that's a wonderful idea. We deserve some peace and happiness." In the months that followed, I gradually distanced myself from the day-to-day operations of the business, entrusting my capable team to handle things in my absence. Jennifer and I took time to travel, explore new hobbies, and simply enjoy each other's company. The simplicity of our days brought a profound sense of healing. As the legal proceedings against Lisa and the others involved in Emily's scheme unfolded, I felt a sense of closure. Justice was being served, and I could finally put the past behind me. Standing on the shore of the lake one evening, I realized that the journey of the past few years had changed me in ways I hadn't anticipated. I was stronger, more resilient, and more appreciative of the simple joys in life. With Jennifer by my side and the future wide open, I knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, we would face them together. The past was a part of our story, but it no longer defined us. We had forged a new path, one filled with hope, love, and endless possibilities. In the weeks following the revelations about Lisa, I continued to work closely with the authorities, providing information that would help bring those responsible to justice. The process was draining, but I remained focused on protecting my business and ensuring that my team felt secure and supported. Meanwhile, Jennifer and I made the most of our newfound time together. We traveled to places we had always wanted to visit, from the historic streets of Rome to the vibrant markets of Marrakesh. Each new destination brought us closer and allowed us to create memories that would last a lifetime. During one of our trips, as we hiked through the lush greenery of Costa Rica, I found myself reflecting on the journey we had taken. The past few years had been tumultuous, but they had also brought us to a place of deep understanding and connection. "Jen," I said, pausing to take in the breathtaking view of a waterfall, "I've been thinking about what we've been through and how much stronger we've become because of it." She turned to me, her eyes filled with love and compassion. "We've faced so much together, John, and through it all, we've come out stronger and more united." I nodded, feeling a profound sense of gratitude. "I wouldn't have it any other way. You've been my rock, and I'm so thankful for every moment we've shared." As we continued our hike, I felt a renewed sense of purpose. The challenges of the past had shaped us, but they had also prepared us for a future filled with endless possibilities. Upon returning home, I decided to take a more active role in the foundation I had established. Working with aspiring entrepreneurs and small businesses brought a sense of fulfillment and purpose that I hadn't felt in years. Seeing the impact we were making in the community reaffirmed my commitment to giving back and making a difference. One evening, as Jennifer and I sat on the porch of our lakeside cabin, I felt a sense of contentment wash over me. The legal battles were nearing their end, and justice was being served. Our business was thriving, and our foundation was making a meaningful impact. "Jen," I said, taking her hand in mine, "I feel like we've finally come full circle. The past is behind us, and the future is bright. We've built something beautiful together, and I'm excited for what's to come." She smiled, her eyes reflecting the setting sun. "I'm excited too, John. We've faced so much, but we've also created a life filled with love, hope, and endless possibilities." As we sat there watching the sunset over the lake, I knew that the journey of the past few years had been transformative. We had faced betrayal, legal battles, and countless challenges, but through it all, we had emerged stronger and more resilient. With Jennifer by my side and a future filled with promise, I was ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. The past was a part of our story, but it no longer defined us. We had forged a new path, one filled with hope, love, and endless possibilities. Taking a step back from my business provided the breathing space Jennifer and I both needed. It was a time to reconnect, to heal, and to dream about what our future might hold without the constant shadow of past betrayals. We spent our days traveling, hiking, and enjoying the simple pleasures that life had to offer. The tranquility of our lakeside cabin became our sanctuary, a place where we could truly be ourselves. But even as we enjoyed our peaceful retreat, the world outside continued to turn. My decision to distance myself from the business had proven wise. My team, led by my trusted COO, managed the day-to-day operations efficiently. The company continued to thrive, even in my absence, which was a testament to the strong foundation we had built. One crisp morning, as Jennifer and I sat on the porch sipping coffee, I found myself thinking about the future in a new way. "Jen," I began, breaking the comfortable silence, "I've been thinking about our next steps. I want to do something meaningful, something that can make a difference." She looked at me with curiosity. "What do you have in mind?" "I've been considering starting a foundation," I said. "Something that can help people who've gone through experiences like ours. Whether it's supporting victims of financial crimes, providing resources for those going through difficult divorces, or even offering business mentorship to entrepreneurs who've faced setbacks." Jennifer's eyes lit up. "That's an amazing idea, John. We could use our experiences to help others navigate their challenges and come out stronger." Her enthusiasm was infectious, and we spent the rest of the morning brainstorming ideas. By the time we finished, we had a rough outline of what our foundation could look like. It felt invigorating to channel our energy into something positive and impactful. Over the next few months, we laid the groundwork for the Miller Foundation. We reached out to contacts, secured funding, and developed programs that aligned with our mission. It was a labor of love, and each step brought us closer to our goal. One of our first initiatives was a support group for individuals recovering from financial betrayal. We partnered with local therapists and financial advisors to provide holistic support, helping participants heal emotionally and rebuild their financial stability. Seeing the positive impact on people's lives was incredibly rewarding. At the same time, we launched a mentorship program for aspiring entrepreneurs who had faced significant setbacks. Drawing from my own experiences, I offered guidance and support, helping them navigate the complex world of business with confidence and resilience. The program quickly gained traction, and we saw several success stories emerge. As the foundation grew, so did our sense of purpose. Jennifer and I found joy in working together, leveraging our strengths to create something meaningful. It wasn't just about building a legacy, it was about giving back and making a tangible difference in the lives of others. One evening, after a particularly successful fundraiser, we sat on the porch of our cabin, reflecting on how far we had come. The night was calm, the stars reflected in the still waters of the lake. "Can you believe it?" I said, looking at Jennifer. "Just a few years ago, everything felt like it was falling apart. And now, here we are, creating something new and beautiful from the ashes." Jennifer smiled, resting her head on my shoulder. "I always knew we could do it, John. Together, we're unstoppable." Her words filled me with warmth. The journey had been long and arduous, but it had also been transformative. We had faced betrayal, pain, and uncertainty, but we had emerged stronger, more united, and with a renewed sense of purpose. The Miller Foundation became a beacon of hope for many, a testament to the power of resilience and the importance of support during tough times. Our story, once marred by deceit and betrayal, had become a source of inspiration and strength. As the seasons changed and the years passed, we continued to expand the foundation's reach. We traveled across the country, speaking at events, meeting incredible individuals, and learning from their stories. Each encounter reinforced our commitment to the cause and our belief in the power of community and compassion. Through it all, our bond grew deeper. Jennifer and I had built not only a life together, but a legacy that would endure long after we were gone. The challenges we had faced had forged an unbreakable partnership, and together, we looked forward to a future filled with hope, love, and endless possibilities. Standing on the porch one evening, watching the sunset over the lake, I realized that the journey of healing and growth was never truly over. It was a continuous process, one that required patience, dedication, and above all, love. And with Jennifer by my side, I knew that we were ready to face whatever the future held, together. As the foundation flourished, we found ourselves busier than ever, yet the work was fulfilling beyond measure. Each day, we met people whose lives had been transformed by the resources and support we provided. The gratitude in their eyes, the renewed hope in their voices, was the greatest reward we could have asked for. One day, we received a letter from a young woman named Sophia. She had been a participant in our entrepreneurial mentorship program and wanted to share her success story. Reading her letter, I felt a swell of pride and fulfillment. Dear John and Jennifer, I wanted to take a moment to thank you both for the incredible impact the Miller Foundation has had on my life. A year ago, I was on the verge of giving up on my dream of starting a business. Financial struggles and a lack of direction had left me feeling hopeless. Through your mentorship program, I not only gained invaluable business knowledge, but also the confidence to pursue my dreams. Today, my small bakery is thriving, and I owe so much of that success to the support and guidance I received from the foundation. Thank you for believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. You've made a world of difference in my life, and I'm forever grateful. With gratitude, Sophia. Sophia's story was one of many, and it reaffirmed our mission. We were making a tangible difference, one person at a time. Jennifer and I continued to work closely with our team, constantly brainstorming new ways to expand our reach and improve our programs. We hosted workshops, developed online resources, and even started a podcast to share stories of resilience and success. Our family life thrived alongside our professional endeavors. Grace grew up surrounded by love, learning the values of compassion and community from an early age. Watching her develop into a kind, curious, and determined young girl filled us with pride. One afternoon, as we played in the yard, Grace looked up at me with her wide, inquisitive eyes. "Daddy, can I help with the foundation when I grow up?" I smiled, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. "Of course, sweetheart, you'll always have a place in the foundation. Helping others is one of the most important things we can do." As the years went by, we expanded our foundation's scope even further, establishing partnerships with international organizations to provide support on a global scale. Our work took us to new places, introduced us to new cultures, and allowed us to touch even more lives. Throughout it all, Jennifer remained my unwavering partner. Her strength, compassion, and vision were instrumental in every success we achieved. Together, we navigated the challenges, celebrated the victories, and supported each other through the inevitable ups and downs. One evening, as we prepared for a gala to celebrate the Foundation's 10th anniversary, I reflected on our journey. The event was a testament to everything we had built together, and the room was filled with friends, supporters, and beneficiaries of our programs. As I took the stage to speak, I looked out at the audience, feeling a profound sense of gratitude. Thank you all for being here tonight. 10 years ago, Jennifer and I embarked on a journey to create something meaningful out of the challenges we faced. Today, the Miller Foundation stands as a beacon of hope and resilience, thanks to the support of every one of you. The applause that followed was thunderous, and as I stepped down, Jennifer joined me on stage. Together, we thanked our team, our supporters, and the community that had embraced our mission. That night, as we danced under the stars, I felt an overwhelming sense of peace and fulfillment. The past had shaped us, but it was the choices we made and the love we shared that defined our future. With Jennifer by my side and a legacy built on compassion, resilience, and hope, I knew that our journey was far from over. The path ahead was filled with endless possibilities, and together, we were ready to embrace whatever the future held. Life had a way of reminding us that even in moments of peace, challenges could arise unexpectedly. As the Miller Foundation flourished, Jennifer and I found ourselves busier than ever, balancing our philanthropic endeavors with the demands of daily life. We had built a strong foundation, both in our relationship and our work, but fate seemed determined to test our resolve once more. One chilly winter morning, as I was preparing for a meeting with our board of directors, I received an urgent call from my doctor. "John, we need to discuss the results of your recent tests. Can you come in today?" My heart skipped a beat. "Of course, I'll be there right away." I arrived at the doctor's office with a sense of foreboding. Dr. Lawson, my longtime physician, met me with a somber expression. "John, the tests revealed a concerning issue. We found a growth, and it needs further investigation." The words hit me like a ton of bricks. "A growth? What kind of growth?" "We need to perform a biopsy to determine if it's benign or malignant," Dr. Lawson explained gently. "It's important to address this as soon as possible." The rest of the appointment passed in a blur. I scheduled the biopsy and left the office feeling numb. As I drove home, my mind raced with worst-case scenarios. I couldn't shake the fear that my life was about to take another dramatic turn. When I walked into the cabin, Jennifer immediately sensed something was wrong. "John, what happened? You look pale." I took a deep breath, struggling to find the right words. "The doctor found a growth. I need to have a biopsy." Her eyes widened with concern, and she pulled me into a tight embrace. "We'll get through this together, just like we always do." In the days leading up to the biopsy, Jennifer was my rock. She kept me focused on the positive, reminding me of all the battles we had already won. Her strength and unwavering support were a beacon of hope in an otherwise dark time. The biopsy was a nerve-wracking experience, but the wait for the results was even worse. Each passing day felt like an eternity, filled with anxiety and uncertainty. Finally, the call came. "John, this is Dr. Lawson," his voice calm but serious. "The biopsy results are in. I'm afraid it's cancer." The word hung in the air like a dark cloud. Cancer. It was the last thing I had expected to hear. "We need to discuss treatment options immediately," Dr. Lawson continued. "I recommend starting with surgery to remove the tumor, followed by chemotherapy." Jennifer and I sat together in stunned silence after the call. The reality of the situation was sinking in, and it was overwhelming. "We'll fight this," Jennifer said firmly, her eyes filled with determination. "You're not alone, John. We'll get through this together." Her words were a lifeline. With Jennifer by my side, I knew I had the strength to face whatever lay ahead. We met with Dr. Lawson to discuss the treatment plan in detail. The surgery was scheduled for the following week, and the thought of it filled me with both dread and hope. As the day of the surgery approached, I leaned heavily on Jennifer and our close friends for support. The foundation team stepped up, taking on additional responsibilities to ensure the organization continued to run smoothly in my absence. Their dedication and commitment were a testament to the strong community we had built. The morning of the surgery, Jennifer and I arrived at the hospital hand in hand. "You're going to be okay," she whispered, her voice steady despite the tears in her eyes. "I love you, John." "I love you too," I replied, feeling a surge of gratitude for having her in my life. "I'll fight this with everything I've got." The surgery was a success, but it was only the first step in a long journey. The recovery process was grueling, and the chemotherapy sessions left me feeling weak and drained. Yet through it all, Jennifer was my constant source of strength. She never wavered, always by my side, encouraging me to keep going. During my recovery, the foundation continued to thrive. Jennifer took on a more prominent role, stepping in to manage day-to-day operations. Her leadership was inspiring, and she quickly earned the respect and admiration of our team and the community. Months passed, and slowly but surely, I began to regain my strength. The support from Jennifer, our friends, and the foundation community was invaluable. It was a stark reminder of the importance of the work we were doing, helping others find the strength to overcome their challenges, just as I was doing now. As I look back on the past few years, I realized that every challenge, every setback, had brought Jennifer and me closer together. Our bond had been tested in ways we could never have imagined, but it had only grown stronger. The foundation we had built was not just a testament to our resilience, but also a beacon of hope for others facing their own battles. One evening, as we sat by the lake, watching the sun dip below the horizon, I felt a deep sense of peace. "Jen, thank you for being my rock through all of this. I couldn't have done it without you." She smiled, her eyes reflecting the fading light. "We're a team, John. We'll always face everything together." With her words, I knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, we were ready to face them. Together, we had built a legacy of strength, resilience, and hope, a legacy that would endure long after the trials of the present were forgotten. The months following my recovery were a period of reflection and renewal. The cancer diagnosis had been a stark reminder of life's fragility, but it had also reinforced the importance of the work Jennifer and I were doing. The Miller Foundation became even more of a lifeline for those facing their own struggles, and our personal experience added a new depth of empathy to our mission. We decided to expand the foundation's scope to include support for cancer patients and their families. We established partnerships with medical professionals and hospitals, offering resources and counseling services to those in need. The response was overwhelmingly positive, and it became clear that this was an essential addition to our work. Jennifer and I spoke at numerous events, sharing our story and advocating for increased support for those affected by cancer. Our personal journey resonated with many, and we found a sense of purpose in helping others navigate the difficult path we had walked. As the foundation grew, so did our family. Jennifer and I welcomed our second child, a boy named Ethan. Grace was thrilled to be a big sister, and our home was filled with laughter and love. The joy of watching our children grow and thrive brought a profound sense of fulfillment and gratitude. One sunny afternoon, as we played in the yard with Grace and Ethan, I felt a deep sense of contentment. "Jen, I can't believe how far we've come," I said, watching the children chase each other with pure delight. She smiled, her eyes filled with love. "We've built something beautiful, John, and it's only going to get better." Her words were a testament to our journey. Every challenge we had faced, every obstacle we had overcome, had led us to this moment. Our family was strong, our foundation was thriving, and our love for each other was unshakable. The legacy we were building was not just about the foundation or our work. It was about the values we were instilling in our children. Grace and Ethan were growing up in an environment filled with compassion, resilience, and a deep commitment to helping others. They were learning that even in the face of adversity, it was possible to find strength and create positive change. As the years passed, we continued to expand our reach, helping more people and making a lasting impact on the communities we served. The foundation became a symbol of hope, a testament to the power of resilience and the importance of support during life's most challenging times. One evening, as Jennifer and I sat on the porch of our lakeside cabin, reflecting on our journey, I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. "Jen, we've built something incredible together. I'm so proud of everything we've accomplished." She took my hand, her eyes shining with love. "I couldn't have done it without you, John. We're a team, and we always will be." Her words were a reminder of the strength of our bond. Together we faced the darkest moments and emerged stronger, more united, and more committed to our mission than ever before. As we watched the sunset over the lake, I knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, we were ready to face them together. Our journey was far from over, but with Jennifer by my side, I felt confident that we could handle anything life threw our way. The Miller Foundation continued to grow, touching countless lives and making a lasting impact on the world. Our legacy of resilience, compassion, and hope would endure long after we were gone, a testament to the power of love and the strength of the human spirit. As my recovery progressed, life slowly began to return to a semblance of normalcy. The ordeal of battling cancer had changed me in profound ways, deepening my appreciation for every moment and every person in my life. Jennifer and I emerged from this trial stronger and more united than ever, ready to embrace whatever new beginnings awaited us. With the worst behind me, I began to re-engage with the Miller Foundation. Jennifer had done an extraordinary job leading the organization during my absence, and I was eager to contribute once more. Together, we started to envision new projects and initiatives, aiming to expand our reach and impact. One sunny afternoon, as we sat on the porch, Jennifer turned to me with a thoughtful expression. "John, I've been thinking about our next steps for the foundation. What if we started a scholarship program for young entrepreneurs who face significant challenges?" Her idea resonated with me immediately. "I love that. We could offer mentorship along with financial support, helping them turn their dreams into reality despite their hardships." We quickly put the plan into action. Over the next few months, we developed the framework for the Miller Scholarship Program, partnering with local universities and business incubators. The response was overwhelmingly positive. and we received a flood of applications from talented, driven individuals who had overcome incredible odds. One of our first scholarship recipients was a young woman named Emily Rodriguez. She had grown up in a tough neighborhood, facing numerous obstacles, but her determination and innovative spirit were undeniable. Her business idea, a sustainable fashion line using recycled materials, was both creative and impactful. Jennifer and I were inspired by her resilience and passion, and we knew she was exactly the kind of person our program was designed to support. Working with Emily and the other scholarship recipients reinvigorated our sense of purpose. Their stories were a testament to the power of perseverance and the importance of giving back. As we guided these young entrepreneurs, we found ourselves learning and growing alongside them. Meanwhile, my health continued to improve. Regular checkups confirmed that the cancer was in remission, and I felt a renewed vigor that I hadn't experienced in years. Jennifer and I took this opportunity to travel more, exploring places we had always dreamed of visiting. Each trip was a celebration of life, love, and the incredible journey we had shared. During one of our trips to a quaint seaside town, we stumbled upon a charming old bookstore. As we browsed the shelves, Jennifer picked up a worn, leather-bound journal. "Look at this, John. It's beautiful." The journal was filled with blank pages waiting to be written. An idea sparked in my mind. What if we started documenting our journey, not just the foundation's work, but our personal story too? It could be a way to inspire others. Jennifer's eyes lit up. "I love that idea. We could share our experiences, the highs and the lows, and show people that there's always hope, no matter what challenges they face." We bought the journal, and that evening, sitting on the balcony of our seaside cottage, we began to write. We recounted our story from the beginning, the joys and sorrows, the betrayals and triumphs. It was a cathartic experience, allowing us to reflect on how far we had come and how much we had overcome together. As the weeks turned into months, our journal filled up with memories and reflections. We decided to share excerpts on the Foundation's website, hoping to reach a wider audience with our message of resilience and hope. The response was incredible. People from all walks of life reached out, sharing their own stories and expressing gratitude for our openness and honesty. One evening, as we read through some of the messages we had received, Jennifer turned to me with a thoughtful expression. "John, what if we turned our journal into a book, something that could inspire even more people?" The idea was both exciting and daunting. "You mean publish our story?" "Yes," she said, her eyes shining with enthusiasm. "We've been through so much, and our experiences could help others find strength and hope in their own lives." We began the process of turning our journal into a manuscript. It was a labor of love, and as we wrote, we revisited the many milestones of our journey. Each chapter was a testament to the power of love, resilience, and the unbreakable bond we shared. When the manuscript was finally complete, we sent it to a few publishers. The response was overwhelmingly positive, and before long, we had a book deal. From betrayal to hope, our journey of resilience hit the shelves a few months later, and the reaction was beyond anything we had anticipated. The book resonated with readers around the world, inspiring countless individuals to find strength in their own struggles. As the book gained popularity, we were invited to speak at various events and conferences. Sharing our story in person was both humbling and empowering. Each time we spoke, we connected with people who had faced similar challenges, and we were reminded of the incredible resilience of the human spirit. Through it all, Jennifer and I remained grounded in our love for each other and our commitment to making a difference. The foundation continued to grow. Our scholarship recipients thrived, and our book reached more people than we had ever imagined. One evening, as we sat by the lake, reflecting on all that had happened, I turned to Jennifer and said, "We've come a long way, haven't we?" She smiled, her eyes filled with warmth and love. "Yes, we have, and I wouldn't change a single moment of it." At that moment, I realized that our journey was far from over. We had faced incredible challenges and had come out stronger, more united, and more determined to make a positive impact. With Jennifer by my side, I knew that whatever the future held, we were ready to face it together. As the sun set over the lake, casting a golden glow over the water, I felt a profound sense of gratitude. Our story was one of resilience, love, and hope, a story that would continue to inspire others for years to come. And as we stood there, hand in hand, I knew that the best was yet to come. As the foundation flourished and our book continued to inspire, Jennifer and I began exploring new avenues to expand our impact. We started a podcast, inviting guests from various walks of life to share their stories of overcoming adversity and finding hope. The podcast quickly gained a dedicated following, and we were amazed at the connections we made with people around the world. One particularly memorable episode featured Emily Rodriguez, our first scholarship recipient. She shared her journey from a challenging upbringing to launching a successful, sustainable fashion brand. Her story resonated deeply with our listeners, and we received countless messages from people who were inspired by her perseverance and innovation. Meanwhile, we continued to travel, both for pleasure and to promote our book and foundation. Each destination brought new experiences and opportunities to learn from different cultures and perspectives. Our travels deepened our bond and enriched our understanding of the world. During a trip to Japan, we visited a small village known for its traditional crafts. We were struck by the community's dedication to preserving their heritage while embracing modern innovations. Inspired by their approach, we began to think about how we could incorporate similar principles into our foundation's work. Returning home, we launched an initiative to support artisans and craftspeople, providing them with resources to preserve their traditions while exploring new markets and opportunities. The program was met with enthusiasm, and we were soon working with talented individuals from around the world, helping them sustain their livelihoods and share their cultural heritage with a broader audience. As our foundation's reach grew, so did our family. Grace and Ethan thrived in an environment filled with love, learning, and adventure. They accompanied us on our travels, soaking up the diverse cultures and experiences. Watching them grow into compassionate, curious, and resilient individuals was one of our greatest joys. One evening, as we sat around the dinner table, Grace looked up and asked, "Mom, Dad, why do you work so hard to help other people?" Jennifer and I exchanged a smile, and I replied, "Because we believe in the power of kindness and the importance of giving back. Helping others makes the world a better place, and it brings us joy and fulfillment." Grace nodded thoughtfully, her young mind processing our words. "I want to help people too when I grow up." Jennifer reached across the table and took her hand. "You already do, sweetheart. Every time you show kindness, every time you help someone, you're making a difference." As the years passed, we continued to build our legacy, driven by a shared commitment to making the world a better place. The challenges we had faced had forged an unbreakable bond between us, and our love and resilience were the foundation upon which we built our lives and our work. One evening, as we sat on the porch, watching the sunset over the lake, I turned to Jennifer and said, "I couldn't have asked for a better partner on this journey." She smiled, her eyes reflecting the golden light. "And I couldn't have asked for a better partner in life. We've created something beautiful, John, and I know there's so much more to come." As we held hands and watched the day fade into the night, I felt a profound sense of peace and gratitude. Our journey had been filled with unexpected challenges and incredible triumphs, and it had brought us closer together than I ever could have imagined. With Jennifer by my side, I knew that the future held endless possibilities. Together, we were ready to embrace whatever new beginnings awaited us, confident that our love, resilience, and shared commitment to making a difference would guide us through whatever lay ahead. Just when we thought life had finally settled into a peaceful rhythm, fate threw us another curveball. It started with a seemingly innocuous email that landed in my inbox one afternoon. The subject line read, "Urgent matter regarding the Miller Foundation." Curious, I opened the email and began to read. It was from an attorney representing a man named Richard Blake, claiming that he had evidence of financial misconduct within our foundation. The email accused Jennifer and me of embezzling funds and demanded an immediate audit and public apology, or they would go public with the information. My heart sank as I read the accusations. They were completely unfounded, but the mere suggestion of such wrongdoing could damage our hard-earned reputation. I immediately called Jennifer into my office and showed her the email. She read it, her face growing pale. "This is absurd, John. We've always been transparent with our finances. There's no way these accusations are true." "I know," I said, my mind racing. "But we need to address this quickly. We can't let this baseless attack derail everything we've worked for." We contacted our legal team and scheduled a meeting for the next day. That night, neither of us slept well, our minds filled with worry and uncertainty. At the meeting, Our lawyers assured us that we had nothing to fear. They recommended conducting an independent audit to clear our names and prove that the accusations were false. We agreed and immediately set the wheels in motion. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of meetings, document reviews, and sleepless nights. The auditors combed through every aspect of our foundation's finances, leaving no stone unturned. Despite the stress, Jennifer and I remained united, supporting each other through the ordeal. During this time, we received another email from Richard Blake's attorney, claiming they had concrete evidence of our misconduct. We forwarded it to our legal team, who advised us not to respond directly. As the audit progressed, our legal team uncovered some disturbing information. Richard Blake was a disgruntled former employee of one of our partner organizations. He had been fired for unethical behavior and had a history of making false accusations against his former employers. This revelation brought a mix of relief and anger. It was clear that this was a vendetta, an attempt to tarnish our reputation out of spite. Finally, the audit was completed. The auditors found no evidence of financial misconduct and gave our foundation a clean bill of health. Our lawyers prepared a statement to release to the public, detailing the baseless nature of the accusations and the thorough audit that had cleared our names. We held a press conference to address the situation head-on. Standing in front of a room full of journalists, I took a deep breath and began. Good afternoon. As many of you are aware, my wife Jennifer and I have been the target of unfounded accusations regarding the financial integrity of the Miller Foundation. We want to assure you that these claims are entirely false. We have always operated with the utmost transparency and integrity. Jennifer stepped forward, her voice steady and confident. We conducted an independent audit, which has confirmed that there is no evidence of financial misconduct. We believe this attack was an attempt to undermine the work we have done and the impact we have made. But we will not be deterred. The Miller Foundation will continue to serve our community with the same dedication and honesty as always. The press conference was a turning point. The public rallied behind us, and the outpouring of support was overwhelming. Messages of encouragement and solidarity flooded in, reinforcing our commitment to our mission. With the audit behind us, we turned our attention to Richard Blake. Our legal team filed a defamation lawsuit against him, determined to hold him accountable for his malicious actions. The case garnered significant media attention, and it became clear that Blake had underestimated our resolve. The trial was a grueling process, but in the end, justice prevailed. The court ruled in our favor, and Blake was ordered to pay damages and issue a public apology. While the victory was satisfying, the experience had taken a toll on us both. One evening as we sat by the lake, Jennifer took my hand. "John, this has been one of the toughest challenges we've faced, but I believe it has made us even stronger. We've proven that our integrity and our commitment to helping others can't be shaken." I nodded, squeezing her hand. "You're right. We've come through so much, and we've always come out stronger on the other side. This is no different." As we sat there watching the sunset over the water, I felt a renewed sense of purpose. The experience had tested us in ways we hadn't expected, but it had also reinforced our dedication to our mission and to each other. With the scandal behind us, we focused on expanding the Foundation's reach. We launched new initiatives, including a crisis response team to help other organizations navigate similar challenges. Our story became a beacon of hope and resilience, inspiring others to stand firm in the face of adversity. In the months that followed, the Miller Foundation flourished. We continued to support young entrepreneurs, provide resources for those in need, and build a legacy of integrity and compassion. Through it all, Jennifer and I remained united, our bond stronger than ever. As we stood on the shore of the lake one evening, watching the stars twinkle above, I realized that our journey was far from over. Life would undoubtedly bring more challenges, but with Jennifer by my side, I knew we could face anything. Our story was one of resilience, love, and unwavering commitment to making a difference. And as we looked toward the future, we knew that the best was yet to come. Together, we were ready to embrace whatever new beginnings awaited us, confident in our ability to overcome any obstacle and continue building a legacy of hope and strength. The scandal with Richard Blake had been a harsh reminder of the world's unpredictability, but it also highlighted our resilience and the strong community of supporters we had cultivated. With our reputation restored and our mission reaffirmed. Jennifer and I were determined to focus on the future. One day, while brainstorming new projects for the foundation, Jennifer suggested we explore international opportunities. John, we've done so much good here, but there are communities around the world that could benefit from our programs. What if we expanded our reach globally? The idea was exciting. I love it. We could partner with local organizations to ensure our programs are effective and culturally appropriate. We began by researching potential countries and communities that aligned with our mission. After careful consideration, we decided to start in Kenya, where a local NGO was already doing incredible work with young entrepreneurs and women's groups. Our foundation could provide additional resources and mentorship to help these programs thrive. Our first trip to Kenya was eye-opening. The people we met were incredibly resilient and full of hope and determination, despite facing significant challenges. We spent time visiting villages, meeting with community leaders, and understanding their needs and aspirations. It was clear that our foundation's support could make a substantial difference. Jennifer and I returned home with a renewed sense of purpose and immediately began organizing the resources needed for our international expansion. We reached out to our network, securing funding and volunteer commitments. The response was overwhelmingly positive, and within a few months we had established a partnership with the NGO in Kenya. The launch of our international initiative was a significant milestone for the Miller Foundation. Our programs in Kenya focus on entrepreneurship, education, and women's empowerment. We provided microloans to aspiring business owners, funded scholarships for students, and supported women's cooperatives, helping them to scale their operations and increase their income. The impact was profound. We received stories of transformed lives, thriving businesses, and empowered communities. One particularly inspiring story was that of Amina, a young woman who had started a small tailoring business. With our support, she expanded her business, hired other women in her village, and began teaching sewing skills to young girls, creating a ripple effect of empowerment and economic growth. Back home, we continued to share these stories, inspiring our community and attracting more supporters. The international expansion also brought a new dimension to our work, enriching our understanding of global issues and deepening our commitment to making a positive impact. As we celebrated the successes of our programs in Kenya, we began to explore other countries and regions where our foundation could make a difference. Each new project brought its own challenges and rewards, but the underlying mission remained the same: to empower individuals and communities to overcome adversity and achieve their full potential. Through it all, Jennifer and I remained each other's rock. Our partnership, both in life and in work, was the foundation of everything we achieved. We faced challenges head-on, celebrated victories together, and supported each other through every twist and turn. One evening, as we stood on the balcony of a small hotel in Kenya, watching the sunset over the savannah, I turned to Jennifer and said, "I'm so grateful for this journey we're on. It hasn't always been easy, but it's been worth every moment." She smiled, her eyes filled with love. "I feel the same way, John. We've built something incredible together, and I know there's so much more to come." As we held hands and watched the day fade into the night, I felt a profound sense of peace and fulfillment. Our journey had taken us to places we never imagined, and it had strengthened our bond in ways we couldn't have foreseen. With Jennifer by my side, I knew that the future held endless possibilities. Together, we were ready to embrace whatever new beginnings awaited us, confident in our ability to overcome any obstacle and continue building a legacy of hope and strength. Life had settled into a satisfying rhythm after the global summit. Our work at the Miller Foundation continued to thrive, and Jennifer and I felt more connected and content than ever. But just as we began to feel a sense of stability, an unforeseen revelation threatened to upend our carefully rebuilt lives. It started with a phone call one rainy afternoon. I was in my office going over some grant proposals when my assistant buzzed in. "John, there's a man here to see you. He says it's urgent." I frowned, puzzled. "Who is it?" "He says his name is Michael Davis. He mentioned he knows you personally." The name didn't ring a bell, but something about the urgency in her voice made me curious. "All right, send him in." A few moments later, a tall, well-dressed man in his early 40s walked into my office. He had a serious expression, and there was a flicker of something I couldn't quite place in his eyes. Fear, perhaps, or desperation. "Mr. Davis, please have a seat. How can I help you?" I asked, gesturing to the chair across from my desk. He sat down, nervously tapping his fingers on the armrest. "Mr. Miller, thank you for seeing me on such short notice. I understand this might come as a shock, but I need to tell you something important about your wife, Jennifer." My heart skipped a beat. "What about Jennifer?" Michael took a deep breath. 25 years ago, when Jennifer was in college, we were in a relationship. It was brief, but she had a child, John, a son, and that son is mine. The words hit me like a punch to the gut. I struggled to process what he was saying. A son? Jennifer never mentioned anything about having a child before we met. Michael looked down, his expression pained. She didn't know she was pregnant when we broke up. By the time she found out, she had already moved on with her life. She decided to give the baby up for adoption. I felt a whirlwind of emotions, confusion, anger, and an overwhelming need for answers. "Why are you telling me this now, after all these years?" Michael's eyes met mine, filled with sincerity. "My son, Ethan, found out about his adoption recently and wanted to know his biological parents. We did some searching and found Jennifer. I didn't want to disrupt your lives, but Ethan deserves to know where he came from." I sat back, my mind racing. "Does Jennifer know about this?" Michael shook his head. "No, I wanted to speak to you first. I thought it would be better coming from someone who understands the situation." The room fell into a heavy silence. I knew I had to talk to Jennifer, but I also knew this revelation would shake the very foundation of our lives. That evening, I waited for Jennifer to return from the foundation. When she walked through the door, she immediately sensed that something was wrong. "John, what is it? You look like you've seen a ghost." I took her hands and led her to the couch. "Jennifer, we need to talk. Something happened today that you need to know about." She sat down, her eyes wide with concern. "What is it?" I took a deep breath, steadying myself. "A man named Michael Davis came to see me. He claims that 25 years ago, you had a brief relationship in college, and that you had a son together." Jennifer's face went pale. "What? No, that's impossible. I would remember something like that." "He said you didn't know you were pregnant when you broke up. By the time you found out, you decided to give the baby up for adoption." Tears welled up in her eyes as she shook her head in disbelief. "No, John, I can't believe this." I held her close, my own emotions swirling. "He said his name is Ethan, and he recently found out about his adoption. He wants to know his biological parents." Jennifer sobbed quietly, the weight of the revelation crashing down on her. I never knew I had a son." We sat there for a long time, holding each other, trying to make sense of this new reality. Eventually, Jennifer looked up at me, her eyes red and puffy. "What do we do now, John?" I stroked her hair gently. "We need to meet him. Ethan deserves to know the truth, and we need to understand what happened. We'll face this together, just like we've faced everything else." Over the next few days, we arranged a meeting with Michael and Ethan. The anticipation and anxiety were almost unbearable, but we knew it was a step we had to take. When the day finally arrived, Jennifer and I sat in a quiet cafe, waiting for them to arrive. When they walked in, I immediately noticed the resemblance. Ethan was tall, with Jennifer's eyes and Michael's determined expression. He looked nervous but determined, just like his father. Jennifer stood up, her hands trembling. "Ethan, I'm Jennifer, your biological mother." Ethan nodded, his eyes filling with tears. "Hi, Mom." The word hung in the air, heavy with emotion. Jennifer pulled him into a hug, and they both cried, the years of separation and unspoken truths dissolving in that single moment. We spent the afternoon talking, sharing stories, and getting to know each other. It was a day filled with mixed emotions, joy, sadness, and hope. As we parted ways, Ethan looked at us with a newfound sense of belonging. "Thank you for meeting me. I've always wondered about my origins, and now I finally have some answers." Jennifer squeezed his hand. "We'll be here for you, Ethan. We have a lot to catch up on, but we'll take it one step at a time." As we drove home that evening, Jennifer and I were silent, each lost in our thoughts. The revelation had brought a new dimension to our lives, one we never expected. But as we navigated this uncharted territory, we knew that our bond, forged through countless trials, would carry us through. Life had thrown us another curveball, but we were ready to face it together. With our hearts open and our resolve stronger than ever, we embraced this unforeseen revelation, knowing that it was yet another chapter in our extraordinary journey. In the weeks that followed, Jennifer and I slowly began to integrate Ethan into our lives. We arranged regular meetings, allowing him to spend time with us and get to know his biological family. Grace and Ethan bonded quickly, their sibling connection growing stronger with each passing day. Watching them interact filled me with a sense of hope and renewal. One evening, as we sat around the dinner table, Grace looked up at Ethan with curiosity. "What's it like having two sets of parents?" Ethan smiled, though it was tinged with sadness. "It's different. I love my adoptive parents, and they've been amazing. But meeting my biological family has given me answers to questions I've had my whole life. It's like finding a missing piece of the puzzle." Jennifer reached out and took Ethan's hand. "We're just glad to have you in our lives now. We have a lot of catching up to do, but we have all the time in the world." As we navigated this new chapter, the support from our friends and the foundation community was invaluable. They embraced Ethan as part of our family, offering love and understanding. The foundation continued to thrive, and we launched new initiatives focused on supporting adoptive families and promoting open adoptions. Our personal experience had given us a deeper understanding of the challenges and joys of adoption, and we were determined to use our platform to make a difference. Ethan also expressed interest in getting involved with the foundation. His passion for helping others and his unique perspective as an adoptee brought fresh ideas and energy to our work. Together, we developed programs that provided resources and support for adoptees seeking to connect with their biological families. One afternoon, Ethan and I were working on a presentation for an upcoming event when he turned to me with a serious expression. "John, I want to thank you. You and Jennifer have welcomed me into your lives with open arms, and it means the world to me." I smiled, feeling a surge of pride. "Ethan, you're part of our family. We're grateful to have you with us. Your journey has inspired us all, and we're excited to see what the future holds." As the months turned into years, our family grew closer, and our bond strengthened by the challenges we had faced together. Jennifer and I continued to work side by side, driven by our shared commitment to making a positive impact. Ethan's presence added a new dimension to our lives, and his contributions to the foundation were invaluable. One evening, as we sat by the lake reflecting on our journey, Jennifer took my hand. "John, we've been through so much, but we've come out stronger each time. Our family, our work, it's all a testament to the power of resilience and love." I nodded, feeling a deep sense of contentment. "You're right. We've faced every twist and turn together, and will continue to do so. Our story is far from over." As we watched the sunset over the water, I realized that life would always bring unexpected challenges, but with Jennifer, Grace, Ethan, and our entire community by my side, I knew we could face anything. Our journey was a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the unbreakable bonds of family and love. With our hearts open and our resolve unwavering, we embraced each new day with hope and determination. Together, we would continue to build a legacy of compassion, resilience, and unwavering commitment to making the world a better place. My name is John Miller, and this is the story of how my life was turned upside down by betrayal, loss, and unexpected revelations. After discovering my wife Jennifer's infidelity, our 23-year marriage seemed irreparably damaged. We rebuilt our lives and the Miller Foundation from the ground up, only to face a shocking revelation about Jennifer's past, a son she never knew she had. Through heartache, resilience, and a relentless pursuit of truth and redemption, we navigated the trials that tested our bond and emerged stronger, ready to embrace our new reality and the future ahead.